you said during the crossover, the players were, among other things, a lot of emotions run through your head, when you suffer a couple losses like that, but they just looked kind of baffled to me, like they didn't know, what are we doing? What is happening to us?
And not only after the game, but during the game, like the Rockets took them out of everything that they wanted to do last night. And not only last night, obviously Saturday. I'm so fired up. I'll be honest with you, Whitey. I'm kind of in a bad mood right now, big fella. I am in a bad, we're flying back last night, and I turned to some people, and I'm like, heck, we could have just stayed in Sacramento, just told the league, hey, just give us 2 losses. We won't even travel to Houston. No need to even play the games as bad as this team played. I got up this morning feeling, okay, all right, it's a new day. I'm going to go golfing. We'll forget about that. I was crap on the golf course, and so I'm just upset at the state of everything right now. And the way this team played last night, as Sacramento Kings fans, it has to be unacceptable. It has to be, Mike Brown, it has to be unacceptable. This team needs to be better. And so I come away thinking, what we saw these last 2 games, that's not Sacramento basketball. And what's interesting, I thought against Golden State, sure, they only scored 101 points. But I came away from that game, and I said it during Drapes Takes last week, that this team will be fine. This team will be good. No De'Aaron Fox. It's okay. You should still be able to weather the storm. And what they did last night and Saturday night, man, to me, that's unacceptable.
Matt Barnes joins us bottom of the hour here. And to your point, Kyle, and I'm not disagreeing with you in any way, shape, or form. You say it's unacceptable. I think 99.9% of Kings fans would agree. But where does that leave you? I mean, even if you're Mike Brown, unacceptable. You have to accept it because it happened. The question is, what in the world do you do about that? If it's unacceptable, does that mean, as Coach Brown suggested he might do after the loss Saturday, some other people are going to start getting minutes?
Yeah, and he reiterated that last night, and we're going to have some sound from Mike Brown coming up. And, I said give it 10 to 15 games and see what happens. But the way Mike Brown sounded last night, the way he sounded Saturday night, we might not be able to afford 10. There might need to be changes right now. I'm not sure which direction he would go. He said last night, I got to look at the film, see how I feel the following day. But this team is too good. This season is too important. These games are too important in the loaded Western Conference to let, a 2-3 game losing streak turn into 6-7. That's something this team did a great job with last season, Whitey. We didn't have 5 or 6 game losing streaks. You had that first 4 game losing streak. After that, they were pretty good at ending streaks. Now they got a tough game tomorrow. Every game is tough, I think, in the Western Conference. Portland's going to come in fired up, ready to go. And so, no, if I'm Mike Brown, man, something has to be done. Something has to be shaken up.
Speaking of Mike Brown, after the game last night, he noticed that, the Rockets just punched the Kings right in the mouth.
Give Houston credit. They kicked our behind, starting with me. And they kicked my behind and on down the line. They came ready to play tonight and punched us in the mouth, and we didn't respond. And it was evident when you look at the game and you watch us defensively, just how many times in the first half somebody on the weak side block ducked in front of our defender and caught the ball at the charge line. I don't know if I've been part of any situation where we gave up 4 or 5 duck-ins to where the duck-in was at the charge line. That's just the evidence of them kicking us in our behind. And then the tough part about it, our spirit got deflated, and we didn't have anybody out on the floor that could bring it back up. And so that also was tough to watch.
Mike Brown right now, and last night after the game, had to be thinking, I'm not sure this is the team I thought they were, because they're a far cry from what he's been trying to get them to become this year in terms of playing physically.
Yeah, and as I'm watching that game and announcing it yesterday, it did not look like Sacramento Kings basketball. And Katie brought it up yesterday. She brought it up on Saturday. Kings basketball is predicated on movement, not just ball movement, but player movement.
Player movement, ball movement.
How many times did we see guys just standing around. Domantas Sabonis looking for guys to move. He would get it at the foul line, 17, 18 feet, look to orchestrate the offense, but nobody was moving.
Mm-hmm.
And so, give the Rockets credit. I thought their defensive game plan was masterful. They crowded Sabonis. They really took away his ability to go to work. I mean, there was a reason why, he didn't shoot the ball a lot yesterday and Saturday. He was double and triple teamed. But the problem was nobody presented themselves in a good passing lane for him to dump it out. And the shot clock, how many times did we see the shot clock run down, Whitey? 24-second violations, half-court heaves with 1 second on the shot clock. That's not Sacramento Kings basketball. Mike Brown talks about wanting to play fast. And I know Kings fans driving right now, listening on YouTube right now, you're frustrated. And Whitey, I don't want this to be 4 hours of Drapes being angry, because I know I'm not the only one out there. I want to hear from Kings fans too, because we're in this together. I put something out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. What needs to happen? How do we fix what's going on before the season? You don't want it to turn into 2-6, 2-7.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I did notice something last night that might go a little ways at least towards resolving part of the problem, to the point you made about Domas and the fact that it appears that teams now are just stopping the offense right there. We know last year the Kings, at the risk of oversimplifying, Kings had so much success running the offense through him.
Yeah.
Right? Then I think we saw last year in the playoff series, the Warriors showed some ways. They provided a blueprint for shutting that down. So, and I think we've seen that this regular season as well. And I think that's one reason we have so much standing around when teams are preventing Domas from getting the offense going, preventing him from being the fulcrum to the offense. You end up with no passing lanes for him, people standing around, and a lot of hasty threes that are missed. I noticed at the start of the second half, the Kings came out, and even though they had a shot clock violation their first possession, they were running like dribble drive motion.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
I did see that.
Third quarter start, they're like, whoa.
Right.
So at least, I'm not saying that's the answer, but maybe you just got to diversify your sets a little bit, because it looks like some of what the Kings had so much success with last year has been figured out, quote unquote, by the rest of the league.
Yeah, and they have installed some new things, some new wrinkles to that offense. And we saw it a little bit, like you said, with that. And especially with De'Aaron Fox out.
Yeah.
Teams don't have to worry about De'Aaron Fox. And now you can really make life difficult on Domantas Sabonis. There is no way on earth Domantas Sabonis should have only 4 shots in a game. And I don't want to be one of those box score guys, just look at the box score and say, oh, this was wrong, this was wrong. But Domantas Sabonis has to be better. He has to get more touches. And I'll put some of that on the coaching staff. They should have done a better job putting him in position to be the finisher instead of just always trying to set up other people, especially when you see guys just standing around. It was bad basketball these last 2 games in Houston.
Here's what was really discouraging to me. At times the Kings looked flat, and sometimes when you look flat and you look like you don't have the energy, it's because the other team is just stronger and faster than you. I'm not saying that's the case, but I think this is a tough matchup for the Kings, even though the Rockets, their expectations are not very high this year, but they have over the last few years drafted some elite players, some elite athletes, and we mentioned it during the crossover. Jalen Green would stand there and look at his defender and it's like, which way do I want to go around this guy? And sometimes you look flat when the other team is just faster, quicker, stronger, and can jump higher than you. And I think that was a factor, at least part of the factor, part of the reason why the Kings looked so bad against the Rockets.
Yeah, and they had players that can beat you one-on-one.
Yes.
Jalen Green, for instance. Fred VanVleet is a baller. He's a player, And the thing is, what the Rockets have done, and kudos to them and that organization, they got some tough, hard-nosed guys out there. VanVleet, we know he's a tough grinder. Dylan Brooks, we know how tough he is. And you can see a culture shift going on down there in Houston. They're 3-3 right now. They've won 3 straight games, and it's because they make life difficult for you, your offense. And so Mike Brown talks about physicality all the time. Well, Houston, they're not just talking about it. They're actually doing it. Like, we could not, meaning the Kings, they could not get into their offensive sets.
No.
How many times did we see them starting the offense at close to midcourt? And so that's where and I don't want to make this a Davion argument because we'll talk about Davion coming up in just a little bit. But that's where, man, I wish we had a different type of point guard. Somebody that could truly run the system, run the offense. Where was the pick and roll game at? Outside of Malik Monk, I didn't see it at all. Malik Monk and JaVale McGee. And so many issues with what happened.
Nobody played well. Nobody.
You
can look at this guy's numbers or that guy, say, well, he was okay, but nobody played well.
You know what? And we talk about plus minus, and for this sake of my argument, I'm going to use it. Davion, a minus 30. Kevin Huerter, minus 26. Sabonis, minus 24. Keegan, minus 18. Harrison Barnes, minus 21. I mean, Kevin Huerter's a minus 26 in 25 minutes. Like, he's getting scored a point a minute. I mean, that just cannot happen. And the fact that, Houston, kudos to them, man. They played a heck of a 2 ball games. And how about Şengün, too?
Oh,
Şengün should not be dominating Domantas Sabonis.
Totally outplayed him 2
dominated that matchup. He was more physical. He took it to the body. He made shots. It's a long NBA season. Thankfully, we don't see Houston again until March, but the Kings, they got to do better.
The way they're currently constituted without De'Aaron Fox, I do think when Domas has the mid-range, he's got to take it. I do. Yeah. And if he misses it, okay, then you adjust. But to just not take it, that has a disruptive effect on the offense.
Yeah.
Whereas Şengün's like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
He made a few.
Yeah, he made a few. And that's something we talked about before the season. We saw that against the Warriors. You got to, whatever you do, Domantas Sabonis, you just got to do it. You can't be caught in no man's land. Oh, what do I do with the ball? If you're going to shoot it, shoot it. If you're going to pass it, pass it. But Keegan Murray passed up a number of shots. I said during the broadcast last night, he got, to about the 17-foot range. I'm like, all right, shoot it, or penetrate. Like, the lanes were there, and guys were just scared for some reason. Man, you're killing me, Whitey.
You did the opening game in Utah, right? Salt Lake City. Okay, you know the guy that scored 33 points?
Harrison Barnes. My guy.
Did he just stay in Utah, or have you seen him since then?
I mean, I'm not going to do that with you, Whitey, for the next 4 hours. I'm not going to go down the list. Harrison Barnes, where were you? Keegan Murray, where were you? Domantas Sabonis, where were you? You just said it. Everybody's was terrible this weekend. But here's the problem that the Kings have. They missed De'Aaron Fox. We know that. But when things go sideways, and I said this during the show yesterday, we don't have a LeBron. We don't have a Tatum, a KD, or somebody. When the offense bogs down, give me the ball. I'm going to get you a bucket. De'Aaron Fox is that guy. And without him, this offense is looking very pedestrian.
All right. That leads to a very serious question.
Okay.
Short term, long term. And I've got that for you when we come right back here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Drive Guys a day after another humiliating loss in Houston on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
Team, it's snowing again tomorrow. They're predicting 2 to 3 feet.
'Tis the overtime season for Frank Snowplows.
Kelly, can you take another shift?
Let it snow. Quality driver applicants.
Hey guys, know anybody else with a D license?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Glad you're with us today, and we could use the company. Your Sacramento State Hornets, by the way, are home this Saturday, 2 p.m. kickoff against the Cal Poly Mustangs. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com. The day after, another tough loss to the Houston Rockets. Not only a bad loss, a type of loss that makes you wonder, okay, what's exactly going on here? And that leads to an existential question for the Kings, Cal Draper. We'll get to the phones in just a second here. We got Drapes Takes coming up here. Got a lot going on. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Before we get to the calls, do the Kings need to start thinking about making a deal to bring in the type of player you say they need?
Oh, man, here we are 6 games in, and we're already talking about making a trade.
Somebody said the Kings need this type of guy who's not there.
Who said that? Yeah, but I think De'Aaron Fox cures a lot of that. I think so. Obviously, you should be able to withstand, missing De'Aaron Fox for a few games. But I think the Kings will make a move before the trade deadline. I think they're that close to being really a championship contender. De'Aaron Fox is in his prime. Domantas Sabonis is in his prime. You have a great thing going right now. Now's the time to be aggressive, I think, if you're Sacramento. The draft picks, they aren't like what they used to be. They're not going to be lottery picks, your own picks. And so at some point, I may package a player or two to go and try to upgrade the roster and get that kind of player. OG Anunoby, he's out there. I don't know how much of a difference he makes in terms of, is he going to, how
he's
tough
not that much of a difference maker, probably.
Right, probably. But you know what? There are some players out there that I'm sure you can add that can help this team. I said it 2 years ago, Kings fans. 2 years ago. Bring me Marcus Smart. And I know Memphis is struggling right now, but I tell you what, you're not going to punk Memphis. You're not going to punk Marcus Smart the way we saw these last 2 games. He's going to get a technical. He's going to commit a hard foul. He's going to show some frustration. The only frustration I saw from the Kings last night was Domantas Sabonis saying, "What are we doing?" That was it. That was it.
I agree with you in principle about a deal, and I know there's a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Right now, looking at the landscape, I'm not crazy about the guys that we think would be available, and I don't like what it would take to get them. So I think for now, the Kings' best move is to stay the course. Maybe at some point some has to be done. But, like Marcus Smart, as far as we know, he's not available. He'd be a good fit. So there's too much of that. OG Anunoby. He's a nice player, but he could be a free agent. He'd be expensive. I don't know. So I think that's what makes that so complicated, but long ways to go. Let's talk to Mark here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Mark, you're on the Drive Guys. Help us understand what the heck happened last night, Mark.
They just seem like a soft team. I don't know what else to say. I don't know their identity. I mean, it seemed like last year they were an offensive team that was, maybe needed to learn defense to maybe win a championship. I think they're trying to get guys to do that they can't do. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm watching this team, and now their offense is being affected. All I see is just blank looks on the faces. I don't know if they've lost the coach. I mean, if the coach has lost them at all, or maybe he's just tried to enforce the defense so much that they've lost their offensive game. And I'm not a huge Kings fan. I mean, as far as, they kind of broke my heart a long time ago, and I've been kind of jumping back on the bandwagon. And it's hard to watch. I mean, it brings up those feelings of like, man, it's the same old Kings kind of. And I know it's early in the season. It's an emotional, it's only 2 losses, but it's hard. I mean, even in the playoffs last year, I kept on thinking, man, this is kind of a soft team. So you got 2 dogs. Maybe that's Fox and Monk. And Huter. To me in the playoffs when it got crunch time, he's never recovered from there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Once you start saying, I'm not really a Kings fan. Kings fans don't want to. No.
We got Warriors fans trying to invade
but
here.
If you got, Kings fans are going through it right now, right?
Yeah.
They're listening to somebody, and if that somebody says, I'm not really a Kings fan. If you're a Kings fan, that just makes you mad.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. The scariest thing he said to me is the notion that the Kings are being asked to do something that they can't do. I'm not saying that's true, but that's a really terrifying notion. And if you're Coach Brown and you're thinking, can they do these things that I want them to do? I know they can, but then after last night, I don't know. That would not be a good situation to be in.
Yeah, and I wonder, is De'Aaron Fox, does he cure all this, though? Are we overreacting?
But not all. They shouldn't miss De'Aaron Fox this much, should they? I know they miss him a great deal, but no team that wants to be a decent team, a good team, should miss one guy that much to the point where you go into Houston and you're unrecognizable.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. As great as De'Aaron Fox is, this team, even if you lose games to Houston, you shouldn't lose the way you did. Like, you look unrecognizable out there. And so people bring up potential trade targets. I mentioned Marcus Smart. He's probably not. What about, and I'm just throwing this name out there just to create some discussion, Alex Caruso with Chicago as your backup point guard.
Chicago is a team that might be
selling off some pieces, and he's a tough, hard-nosed defensive guy, can make some shots, can run an offense. Maybe you look at a guy like that. But I also, we could talk about personnel all we want. When De'Aaron Fox is out, the offense has to change a little bit. We got exposed these last two games with the Rockets offensively, and you mentioned what we saw in the playoffs last year and how teams are defending Domas. The key to Sacramento's offense is players reading the defense. Too many times last night we saw guys just standing around. You got to move. You got to make the cuts. Part of me wonders, is part of it, you got a couple of new guys, a Duarte, Kobe Jones, Sasha, guys like that who truly don't understand the offense and aren't used to playing in the offense just yet. But it was the starting unit, too, yesterday. You can't blame that on those guys, like Harrison Barnes standing around. And so if I'm Mike Brown going forward, short leashes with everybody. And this is something he talked about last night. If you're not getting it done, we got to find somebody who is. So,
Neon Keon. I'm giving him some minutes. No, I am giving him, seriously.
Are you?
Yeah, because...
Hold up. You were just giving Kobe Jones minutes last week. Now, does Kobe still get minutes too?
Yeah, he played well last night. I mean, Keon Ellis never plays, right? He never plays. Why not? Well, because he doesn't shoot well. He shot well last night. And my team right now is... the last two games, they look like a disaster area. They're coming back home. Keon Ellis, I got to give him another chance because, you know why? Because he can defend. He's very quick laterally.
But who are you giving him a spot over? Like, we can't play 15 guys, Whitey. Who are,
Well, I know, but 8 of them, the guys I'm playing now, are terrible. So I got to find somebody. They're not terrible players, but they're playing
Who are we taking out of the lineup? That's what I want to know, Kings fans. Who are you taking out of the lineup? Because if you're not going to attach names to it, you can't play everybody.
I know, but the thing is, I name names, and then you don't want to get personal.
No, I don't want to. Let's talk about it. Give me a name.
I like Davion's not playing
well. So he didn't play well in Golden State? Did he play well in Golden State?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So he had 2 bad games. This is what I'm talking about. I'm listening to Twitter experts over here. Oh, Davion, he's terrible. He's had an opportunity. Last 2 games, no one has played well. So to pinpoint and point the finger at Davion, that's not completely accurate.
No, it's totally accurate to say that the last 2 games in Houston, he's played very poorly.
Oh, okay. Should we bench Keegan Murray?
Well,
let me ask you, because he's had an opportunity. He hasn't played well.
As badly
should
as he
we
played,
bench Domantas Sabonis?
They both played better than, and I like Davion Mitchell, but he has not played
You're
well
looking at the box score. No, come on now. You can't.
You don't have to look at the box score to know that both those guys, as badly as they played better than Davion. And I'm not trying to bury Davion.
That's what's happening right now. You're looking for a scapegoat, Whitey.
You asked me a question.
Everybody's getting mixed up defensively. Nobody's playing well.
Who doesn't play? Well, Herter has to sit down. He's not.
So you're playing Keon Ellis over Davion Mitchell.
Minutes
over Davion Mitchell. Are you giving? All right. So whose minutes Kobe Jones taking? You're killing me. Why did
you're not making sense.
I'm totally making sense.
You're not. You're making it sound like you have to take this guy's minutes,
timeout,
take them out,
because Keon Ellis played good the last 7 minutes of a garbage time game.
He deserves more minutes. If
not
the
over
team continues
Davion.
to play
Davion,
as poorly as they played.
Let me ask you this.
It's that drastic.
No, you're saying right now. You're saying right now.
So the next game,
Davion was arguably the best player against Golden State.
Well, what happened since then?
He had 2 bad games.
2 really bad games.
This is terrible. I'm
That's
done talking
true.
about this.
It's
Let's
a
talk
fact.
about 49ers. This is terrible. You're looking at the
you
box
ask
score.
a question
Dude,
and I answer it.
the eye test is different. You can't
players.
because hold on here. I got your box score right here. Let's go through your box score right now.
What does a box score have to do with it?
Because you're holding it up, making a point about Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
It's not about what's here, ladies and gentlemen. It is about what's happening on the floor.
Okay, so,
and by your reasoning, everybody should be benched.
So you're saying Davion played well. I'm wrong.
No, I said he played well Wednesday against Golden State.
And I said
he did not play well, but you can't bench
so
a guy.
Am I not making sense?
So let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
How many times has Kevin Huerter played well? Should he be benched also?
His minutes should be cut. How many did he play last night? He was at 15 on Saturday.
He played 25 yesterday. He was arguably one of their better players yesterday.
Yeah.
Well,
never mind.
He was 5 and 10. You can't go for it. You can't go with the box score. This whole notion,
He's a terrible defender.
bench Davion. Who? Kevin Huerter?
He's not a good defender.
He's not a good defender, but at least he's trying. Okay. He's not. At least he's trying.
I hope so.
He's giving more effort than a lot of guys. You want to bring in Keon Ellis. This is what's wrong. You're being one of those Twitter experts right now. Oh, Keon Ellis, he had a good game. We got to play him minutes. Kobe Jones had a good preseason. We got to play him minutes.
Find somebody who can play. Mike
So
Brown
hold on,
said this
time out. You're telling me you know more than Mike Brown. You're telling me you know more than Mike Brown right now.
I'm telling you that Mike Brown said, if you had not interrupt me, you would hear me say, Mike Brown said, if these guys don't play well, we need to find people who do. That's what he said. These are players that are on the roster.
So who else is he talking about?
Who else is he talking about?
You said Davion. Give me some other names, please, because you're
Harrison
making.
Barnes isn't playing well.
Okay,
Keegan needs to play a lot better.
So
Malik Monk needs to play better.
We're not saying Sasha needs to play ahead of Harrison Barnes.
Sasha's playing terrible.
We're not saying, you know what, JaVale McGee needs to play better than Domantas Sabonis. I could argue JaVale McGee had 2 better games than Domantas down in Houston.
I'm not sure what you're trying to say. You're
making 1 point about one guy.
You interrupted me, Kyle.
Because you're making 1 point about one guy. Let's talk about the totality.
Why do you keep interrupting me?
Everybody has to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Make your point.
We got to take a time out. We'll continue the conversation, hopefully without as much interruption. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. It's a difficult day to be a Kings fan here on Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season?
Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995?
Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Tuesday. You'll need the shades and the jackets. We head through the afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Today, a dry day with highs mid to upper 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Winter's coming, so let's kick off the cold season right and get your heater all tuned up. Now, just $79. No matter how cold it gets outside, you'll always be warm and toasty inside. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com. Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Guys, your testosterone level can impact your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Book your testosterone level check at Revive Men's Health, Sacramento. They're the local experts with guaranteed treatment for low T and ED. There are no lab fees, and all your tests are included when you start treatment. And many patients find Revive more affordable than their insurance deductibles and copays. Book your testosterone level check today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Well, needless to say, this is not the way we thought this season was going to go. Drive guys here, Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason last night, as you know. Rockets over the Kings, 122-97. Where do the Kings go from here? To help us sort that out, outstanding Kings TV analyst, 15-year NBA veteran, the one and only Matt Barnes with us. Matt, thanks as always for your time. Where do you think Mike Brown's efforts to get the Kings back on track, where do those efforts have to start, Matt?
I just think with energy and force and, wanting to go out there and win. These last 2 games, the guys played hard, but it just, they were beat in every aspect of the game. Hustle plays, the stuff that doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. And, this year, I said this early in the season, the Kings aren't going to be able to sneak up on anyone. And if anything, teams really want to see are they as good as they were last year? Was last year lucky? Was it a fluke? So teams are really every night are going to test Sacramento and to see what they're about.
Matt, thanks for jumping on. I know you were on the post-game show yesterday, and we're 6 games into the season. Obviously, these last 2 games, they look unrecognizable. Where should the level of panic be right now? Because I'm getting fired up in this studio. Whitey's getting fired up. The fan base is fired up. Twitter's fired up. Where should we be at right now?
I think everyone should be calm, to be honest with you. Obviously this is not the start after, a historic season that you wanted. But if you look back to last year, I think they started 0-4 and still made, something out of themselves. And also to the point, I don't necessarily know what's going on with the team because I'm not here day in, day out. But I also say rarely will you have a time in a season where you have both your best shooters not shooting the ball well and you're missing your best player. Like, it's rarity to have, it's common to have one guy going through a shooting slump or maybe missing, a guy or two, but to have your two best shooters and missing your all-NBA, all-star point guard at the same time, that's a recipe for disaster for any team. So, again, 2-4, obviously you would like to see a different record, but it's still very early. There's a whole bunch of expectations and more pressure on this team. Mike is really trying to, preach that force on playing on the defensive end, and I think this team is still trying to find out what that means. And I think the league and the referees are trying to too, because if you guys both recall last night, I think we had three or four guys with 3 fouls in the first half.
First half, yeah.
So I think there's just a lot of adjustment going on and a lot of overthinking going on by Keegan and Herter. But again, we're 6 games into the season. There's a lot more games, and I wouldn't press the panic button until mid-December, Christmas. If this is a 500 team up to that point, or they're up and down, that's when you kind of start worrying. But to me, it's really too early to start panicking.
Matt Barnes with us. Matt, I thought the Kings came out in the second half. The game was already lost, but it looked like they came out running some dribble drive stuff to get some motion going. Are teams defending Sabonis differently this year based on the way Golden State defended him in the playoffs last year?
I think you hit it on the head exactly. They're starting to play more sag coverage and forcing him. He's a selfless superstar, a pass-first superstar by nature. And when Draymond and Looney sat in the paint and clogged all of our driving lanes up and forced him to shoot, and it's not that he can't shoot, but to me the hardest shot in the NBA is a wide-open shot. I'd much rather have 10 out of 10 times someone's hand in my face, or at least someone close to me. But those wide-open shots where they're almost disrespecting you and daring you to shoot are tough. So he's going to have to, kind of mentally battle through that, whether that's running. The best thing to do to me when they're playing sag coverage is go hard into a dribble handoff to a Herter or a Keegan, but at the same time, neither of those guys are hitting. So, I just think this is just one of those blips in the radar that, no one's really playing well. These guys aren't hitting on, any type of cylinder, but again, it's not something to panic about. But the one thing I will say is I think that Golden State kind of, I wouldn't say exposed because he's still a very solid player, but they showed something that he needs to work on and something that he needs to figure out because no one's going to be able to help him with that.
Yeah, he only took 4 shots last night, talking about Domantas Sabonis. Matt, when I look at this makeup of this Kings team, a lot of nice guys. Mike Brown talks about physicality. One thing the Rockets were able to do is get really physical on the perimeter with the guards, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet. Do the Kings have the personnel to combat that? And how do you combat that if you're Sacramento? Or do they need to go out there and make a trade? What do you think?
Or will you come back? Will you come out of retirement?
Right.
Yeah, we talked about what I would have did if Dylan Brooks blew a kiss to the bench. I said I would have clotheslined his ass. But I think this is a spot where Trey Lyles I really like, and he's not a verbal guy, and he's not out barking at people, but he plays physical. Kyle, we recall him mixing it up in the game last year where he almost got in a fight.
Yep.
I really like the edge that Trey Lyles brings in his versatility. As far as meanness and toughness, that's something you're kind of born with or not. I think you can kind of teach it to an extent, but you don't necessarily have to be. You just have to play hard. No one said you have to go out there and be tough, although it's wanted. But, if you go out there and play hard, that covers up for a lot of different mistakes. So, one thing I was still obviously missing De'Aaron, he is not just one of the best scoring guards, but we all know how big of leaps he's taken on the defensive end. And he's the head of the snake on the defense, getting in passing lanes, on-ball defense, turning defense into offense, missing that. And then, too, I think Keegan Murray has made a big jump this year on challenging himself. Mike Brown challenged him last year, but now he's actually out here guarding Steph and guarding these guys, and that is going to wear on his legs, too. For him to become a two-way player, that I think he's going to have to realize, man, I got to be in better shape. Because playing one way is cool, but one of those, the rarities where you're a special talent on both sides of the ball, that takes a lot more conditioning because, again, you're chasing Steph Curry for 35 minutes and then you're expected to knock down, you're consistently expected to knock down three-pointers at a 40% clip. That's not easy. Very few guys can do that. So, again, I think they have the pieces, and I just think there's definitely a target on their back. Memphis was a sweetheart a few years ago, and they've had a target on their back since, and obviously them missing Ja Morant, we're seeing how important he is to that team, and they're struggling. Sacramento definitely has a target on their back. And one thing I noticed about Sacramento, although they haven't won, we've only won 2 games this year, they get up for the Golden States. They get up for the Lakers. But you can't disrespect these guys at the bottom of the Western Conference, particularly Houston, because, Ime's bought a new system over there. He's got some new dogs over there, and they're ready to prove their point. So I think night in, night out, it has to be a consistent attention to detail. You can't take anyone lightly, and you got to know every single night you're going to be tested because how much love you got last year.
Matt, one of the most impressive things about your career is that you had to prove that you belonged in the NBA. You did that, and you lasted for 15 years, and you became an indispensable part of some good teams. Keon Ellis played well last night, and I know it was late in the game and it was against reserves. He can defend. We know that. He's very quick laterally. The way things are going, do you think maybe he deserves another look in the next game? Or, I mean, if you're Mike Brown, you say, hey, I'm going to see if this guy – I'm not going to just send him back to the end of the bench. I'm going to see if there's something there as long as this team continues to play this poorly.
Definitely. There's always a silver lining in situations like this. And Keon, I spoke about this in the postgame, that he came in and I think he led the team in scoring with 15 points and he only played like 13 minutes. You know what I mean? And the fact that he is someone who does play defense and can shoot the ball, he definitely, I guarantee he earned some more respect from Mike. And I'm not sure how much he's going to play, but I definitely think he will be somewhat in the rotation more than he's been previously, but there's always opportunities like that. No game is just a wasted game. I didn't want to say it on air, but I knew these guys weren't going to come back in the second half. I just wanted to see them trending in the right direction. And I think when Mike brought the bench in, predominantly in the fourth quarter, Keon Ellis was someone who stuck out with energy and decision-making and hustle and shot-making. So that definitely, all the coaches watched film last night and today, and he's definitely on their mind. And again, I don't know if that's going to mean he's automatically playing 15 to 18 minutes, but I definitely think he's going to get more opportunities, and he just has to execute. I don't think they're expecting him to score 15 every single night, but I think they expect him to make good decisions, knock down solid shots, and to do all the small things anytime. Because that's where I came. I came from it was the D League back when I was there.
Yeah.
Anytime you come up from the D League, they're not looking for you to be the number 2 or number 3 scorer. They're looking for you to play hard and do all the right things to help the team win. That doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, or it won't get your name on SportsCenter. But you're building your minutes, and you're building your, kind of building your repertoire and an understanding with the coaching staff. So I do think he may have earned himself a few more minutes, in the upcoming games, and we'll see how that goes.
Matt, we just had a passionate discussion about this very point with the Keon Ellis situation. And, it sounds good in theory, but it's sort of like the All-Star team. Well, this guy should have been on the All-Star team. Well, tell me whose minutes he's taking. Tell me who's not getting it done.
Yeah, no, it's and that's the thing about the league, Kyle. I mean, it's, you always want to be a great teammate and you always want to cheer for everyone, but we know better than any coach in the league, Mike Brown is a next up type guy. He doesn't play guys the whole season, and then you see Alex Lund get quality minutes in the playoffs. So you just always have to be ready and to say, like, hey, he's going to take so-and-so spot, or he can take these minutes. Good thing we don't have to worry about that. I think that's why they pay Mike a lot of money to make those decisions. But, it is something. You definitely have to, guys that are struggling early on, and Mike's trying to find energy and some kind of rhythm and some kind of physicality. He can definitely steal a few minutes from Keegan, steal a few minutes from Herter, and next thing you know, that's 12 minutes, and he knocks down a couple threes and makes a few defensive plays, and that starts to go up. So I don't know if whose minutes he's going to be taking. I just threw out an example out there, but as long as he continues to be productive in his minutes, I think Mike's going to give him a look until they kind of figure out what it is and what's going on.
Great stuff, Matt. Thank you so much for being the voice of reason on this past Tuesday. We appreciate it. Hope to talk to you again real soon. Thanks, Matt.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right, Matt Barnes. Good stuff right there.
You wouldn't listen to me. Will you listen to Matt Barnes?
No, I disagree with Matt Barnes because and your point was Keon should play over Davion. I don't think Mike Brown is going away from Davion that quickly.
I said Keon Ellis should get some minutes. That's what Matt Barnes said.
All right. Kobe Jones should get minutes too, right? There's only so many. My point is, there's only so many minutes to go around, and so you know what? It's like the All-Star team. This guy should be an All-Star. Okay, tell me who's not getting minutes then. Tell me whose spot he's taking. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
That's all I want to know.
Well, if the team doesn't start playing better, there's a lot of guys that you could say he is going to play a fewer minutes, and so is he, and so is he. You don't have to have a box score to know, as long as you know the names, because the team's playing badly right now. Drapes Takes are coming up. Are you okay to continue with Drapes Takes?
Yeah, man. We saving it for the bottom of the last 5 minutes of the hour, but I'm good with that.
All right,
man.
Do you want to do it at the top of the next hour?
We can do it.
We'll do whatever you want.
We can do it, man. Let's do it. Let's do Drapes Take next.
All right.
I got a lot to get off my
Drapes
chest.
Takes coming up next year. Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
ABC tomorrow. It's country music's biggest night. The CMA Awards, live. With performances by Luke Bryan, Lainey Wilson, Jelly Roll, and K. Michelle. Old Dominion with Megan Maroney, Carly Pierce featuring Chris Stapleton, Tanya Tucker with Little Big Town, and more.
The best in country music!
Luke Bryan and Peyton Manning host.
The CMA Awards, live.
Tomorrow, 8/7 Central on ABC. And stream next day on Hulu.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Gobble, gobble, folks. It's that time of year again when the leaves fall, and so do the prices at Elk Grove Kia. We're bringing you Thanksgiving early with deals that'll make your wallet say thanks. This fall, our lot is stuffed with the latest Kia models, and we've carved out incredible savings. Get your hands on a brand new Kia with Elk Grove Kia's award-winning reliability and service you can trust, unlike your auntie's dodgy broccoli casserole. Don't wait until the turkey's on the table. Come to Elk Grove Kia and feast on the best deals this fall. And don't worry if you have challenged credit. Our finance team has over 100 years of experience. They may or may not have even helped a pilgrim or two get qualified. So hurry on down to Elk Grove Kia, where the prices are falling faster than Uncle Bob falls asleep in front of the football game at Thanksgiving. It's the Thanksgiving sale going on now at Elk Grove Kia, located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia, where the only thing bigger than our savings is our gratitude for our amazing customers.
Elk Grove Kia.
Carmichael Dave here, telling you something you already know. Your time is important, and that's why at American Energy Heating and Air, they make shopping for a furnace easy with their new online quoting tool. Just go to AmericanEnergyAir.com, get an instant quote today. That'll help you determine what system you need to get and provide the best pricing options as well from the comforts of your home. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to come to your home. Nobody will come to your home. That's convenience. Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be, or if you want, give them a call and talk through what your needs are. Call 916-520-9990 today, 916-520-9990, or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Cooler temperatures mean it's time to reduce your outdoor water use. Water 1 day per week on Saturday or Sunday from November 1st through February 29th. Learn more about your home's watering schedule at sacwaterwise.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Most people know that the term birdie in golf refers to a score of 1 under par, but where did the term originate? According to Scottish Golf History website, it comes from the early 20th century American slang term bird, which meant anything excellent. While a 1911 edition of Maclean magazine described a golf shot as bird straight down the course about 215 yards, the country club in Atlantic City lays claim to the first use of the word birdie. In 1898, A.B. Smith was playing the par 4 second hole when his second shot went within inches of the hole. That was a bird of a shot, he said, and claimed he should get double money if he scored 1 under par. He did indeed hold his putt, and the group thereafter referred to such a score as a birdie. In 1913, acclaimed writer Bernard Darwin wrote in the September issue of Country Life of his visit to America. He explained that it takes a day or two for the English onlooker to understand that a birdie is a hole done in a stroke under par. And now you know. That's Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Calm down, Lion. Calm down. Take
it easy, man. Just take it easy.
Drive Guys are back, and it's time for special, very angry edition of Drapes Takes. Here's Cal Draper.
I tell you, man, I'm looking at the YouTube chat, the text line. I'm getting texts from people. I told you before the show, I'm on one today. I'm angry. I'm ornery. The golf course didn't treat me well. Houston didn't treat me well. So I'm allowed to be in my feelings. I'm allowed to be angry. I'm allowed to be emotional. I'm showing more emotion than my guys did in Houston. This is what we needed in Houston. We needed some passion, some force. My first Drapes take is about Domantas Sabonis. You know I love Domantas Sabonis. The stats speak for themselves. 3-time All-Star, 3rd-team All-NBA, top 5 center in the NBA. But when your best player is out, this Sacramento Kings team is going to look at you, Domantas, to lead them. And so the same game that you play when De'Aaron Fox is there, it can't be the same game you play when he's not there. You got to raise your level. And so I'm looking, if De'Aaron Fox doesn't play tomorrow, I'm looking for Domantas Sabonis to be much better. And forget the 4 shots. He can't get outplayed tomorrow by DeAndre Ayton. He has to be the best center on the floor. He has to be the best player on the floor tomorrow if De'Aaron Fox doesn't play. Forget about the 4 shot attempts. Alperen Sengun went at him, Whitey, time and time and time again. Domas, if he's at home listening, if he's at home brushing his teeth, looking in the mirror, he has to say, you know what, guys, get on my back. I'm going to be better for you tomorrow night.
I agree. He's going to have to take a lot of mid-range shots. He's going to have to take that shot when it's there, especially against Ayton.
And here's the thing with Domantas Sabonis. We know how unselfish he is.
Yeah.
But if he takes 20 shots, is anybody going to be looking at him like, Domantas, what are you doing? Stop shooting.
Right. No.
He's an alpha on this team. He has to shoot the ball. The Kings coaching staff got to do a better job putting him in position, yes. But like you said, he has to shoot that mid-range jumper. I don't care if he makes it or misses it. He has to shoot it. I was watching him warm up yesterday. He was taking threes, mid-range. He was looking good during warm-ups, and I know it's warm-ups, but then he gets into the game. Where's that same confidence?
Everybody is afraid to shoot. I know it's a terrible thing to say, ridiculous thing to say, but you can see it.
You are 100% right. That needs to change. Mike Brown always says, let it fly.
Yeah.
Mike Brown's not going to take you out of a game for missing shots. We saw that last week when Kevin Huerter played 36 minutes, but he didn't really knock down any shots.
He'll take out a game for not taking a shot.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen that. My second Drapes take goes to every single player on that Sacramento Kings team. We could talk about Keon Ellis leading the team in scoring, but it's not about that. It's about Dylan Brooks talking trash in your face, laughing. It's about Fred VanVleet stealing your lunch money. Where's the pride at Sacramento Kings? My first 2 years here in Sacramento, that was an issue with this franchise. The word around the NBA was, you know what? All you got to do is punch the Kings in the mouth, and they'll go run and hide in the corner. They won't fight back. That's what we saw 2 games in Houston. This team has to have some pride. Whether it's Domantas Sabonis yelling, screaming, Mike Brown getting the tech, something has to change. Guys cannot be comfortable with getting their butts kicked 2 nights in a row. That's what's so disappointing, Whitey. Saturday, okay, you didn't have it. But to come out there last night like that, you got to have some pride. You got to look in the mirror, everyone on that team, and do better.
Yeah, that's interesting. Matt Barnes says they miss Trey Lyles. Maybe Trey Lyles will bring a little bit of that edge when he's back.
No, 100%. I think Trey Lyles, a nice guy, but he's a gamer. You know, he's a gamer. He has an edge. And how about this? I know Malik Monk was in foul trouble. I know JaVale McGee was in foul trouble. I know Keegan Murray was in foul trouble, 3 fouls in that first half. But Malik Monk only played 14 minutes and change.
I'm wondering if it was more than him being in foul trouble.
Yeah, like that just and I know he had to sit out most of the second quarter. But, man, I need to see Malik Monk out there. Even the game on Saturday, he only played 26 minutes. When De'Aaron Fox is out, who's your next best guard? I'm talking just guard. It's Malik Monk.
No question.
How come he's not out there 35 minutes? I want to see more Malik Monk, and whether it's in that backup point guard role, playing more minutes at point, whatever it is. I think with De'Aaron Fox out, he needs to be on the floor a lot more.
Yeah, he's one of the keys. If this group is currently constituted is going to start playing better offensively, he's going to have to be a big part of that.
Think about it, too. When you look at this Kings team, we always ask, who's the guy that's going to step up? Malik Monk, it may not always work out, but he's always willing to be that guy. You know, it won't be for lack of effort. It won't be for lack of heart.
He's not going to pass up shots.
Right, he's not going to pass up shots. So when we talk about pride, Malik Monk has that pride. I would like to see him more than 14 minutes and change. That's Drapes Takes, right? That's all I got, man.
All right,
I'm
thank
fired.
you.
That's all I got. It was disappointing.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You want to share your thoughts on what happened to the Kings last night? More importantly, I mean, that's fine. We're here for you. More importantly, though, it's about what's wrong and how they fix it, right?
Yes. What's the answer going forward, right?
No, we just got some silly comments here on the on the text line. Going forward, I don't know what to do about the apparent, how do you phrase it, lack of pride.
Yes.
The Kings looked shell-shocked last night. They looked confused by what was going on. Like they were, one of the reasons they didn't have more of an edge is because they were having an issue processing what's going on. How is this happening to us? And that's really discouraging.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, I asked Mike Brown after the first game in Houston, I said, all right, without De'Aaron Fox, you know, you're right there in the fourth quarter. I think it was a 3-point game going into the fourth on Saturday. Who's that guy you turn to sort of be that closer, to be that, all right, it's winning time now. Now it's time to step up. And he said it's a collective. It has to be the whole group. That concerned me a little bit, Whitey, because when you look at great teams.
Agreed.
They have more than just one guy. Like, we rely on De'Aaron Fox maybe too much to be the guy. You look at Denver. Murray, he's a gamer. We know Jokic is. We know Phoenix, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. Lakers, LeBron, AD, like Boston, Tatum, Brown.
Yep.
Like, you got to have multiple guys that say, you know what? Hop on my back. We're going to close it out. I think at times the Kings are too reliant on the system. And when the system breaks down, they don't have an answer.
And that brings us back to one of the absolute key questions of the day. We've touched on it already. We'll circle back to it. Do the Kings need to start thinking about making a deal to bring more talent in? We're back to that when we return here to Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by E.B. Stone. E.B. Stone for the life of your garden. Despite being on their bye week, the 49ers had a good Week 9 with all other NFC West teams losing. The Red and Gold sit at 5-3 currently, regaining a hold of the top spot in the division with Seattle's loss to Baltimore. The 49ers will look to rally in Week 10, heading to Jacksonville for a road clash with the AFC South leaders. And after adding former number 2 overall pick Chase Young at the trade deadline, the squad feels rejuvenated to make a run into 2024.
With over 100 years as a family-owned company, E.B. Stone's learned a few things about making plants grow. Start a healthy family hobby with indoor planting with E.B. Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil to help your little plants grow into the perfect indoor plant for the kids and family to enjoy. E.B. Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is perfectly blended with all the important ingredients you need to create that perfect indoor and outdoor plant or garden. E.B. Stone, for the life of your garden. Visit ebstone.org for more gardening tips, products, and locations near you.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave letting you know Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room and primetime football location is back. Cap Casino giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. And as always, please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTK AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports. The Drive Guys, live and local. Every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
We all know this isn't the way the Kings season was supposed to start. Yeah, they got off to a slow start last year. But last year, we didn't know what kind of team this was, and they figured things out, and they took off. This year, hey, we're supposed to be lighting the beam a lot more frequently. So what is the issue? With your help, we're trying to figure that out today. Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the fact that De'Aaron Fox is hurt.
Yes.
They shouldn't miss him this much, Kyle.
Not at all. I mean, I know how great De'Aaron Fox is, but they played better on the road against Golden State. So don't tell me, and I'm not talking to you, just talking in general, that you guys can't play better without De'Aaron Fox. You've already proven that. You've shown that you could play better, and it's interesting. I thought Matt Barnes made a great point. You can get up for the Golden States of the world, the Lakers of the world, but Houston you didn't get up for. And I'll tell you that, as much as I love the city of Houston, that atmosphere is terrible. Like
you weren't a lot of people there.
Yeah, weren't a lot of people. You wouldn't know that they were winning. Like, usually when a team is rocking and rolling like they were, it's loud in there. The crowd's on his feet. You couldn't feel any of that yesterday. It was just another ho-hum game for them. But if you're Sacramento, you should be able to get up no matter who it is, because that's what the good teams do, right? And so what scares me is, as great as last season was, we gave away some games. And now here we are 6 games in, you're giving away some games. Even if you went 1-1 in Houston, I would have been fine with that. You
well,
come back,
show up.
Yeah, they just didn't show up. They could have been 3-3 and everything would have been okay. But you just didn't even show up. It's like you didn't even hop off the plane and enter the arena. And that's what's so upsetting. Now, if I'm De'Aaron Fox, he was courtside watching it right on the bench and everything. Hopefully, this doesn't mean you're trying to rush back or anything like that. But if he plays tomorrow, hopefully he's 100%. But it's clear they need him. I said that they should be able to withstand De'Aaron Fox injury in the short term. And they should. They should be able to get through 3, 4, 5 games without Fox. Right now, they're 0-3 without De'Aaron Fox.
And the well, I was going to say the 3 most winnable games are the ones they've lost. That's not true. The 3 apparently most winnable, although you never know, of course, would be Houston and then the upcoming one. So this, again, becomes an even bigger game than we thought it would be against Portland tomorrow night. The Kings really could use a W here.
Yes.
The question is, given the fact that the team's not playing well, and given the fact that Mike Brown told Kyle that when De'Aaron Fox is out, who steps up? Well, it's a collective.
Right.
That's, typically not the way the NBA works. So does that mean that the Kings need to start thinking about, if they haven't already started thinking about, bringing in more talent? Do they need to start thinking about a trade with the deadline months away? I know we touched on it earlier. Yeah. In general, where are you with the idea that the Kings need more talent on this team?
I think these last few games have shown that, because we're not talking about making the playoffs, making the first round. We're talking about building a championship contender. And if I'm Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox, I'm watching what transpired in Houston. I see we're not good enough. We should be able to withstand the loss of De'Aaron Fox. If Fox goes down for a long time, if Sabonis goes down, you can't just punt on the season. And so I'm looking at it. You got all your draft picks. You got some movable contracts. Maybe you do swing a deal. I know it's early. You got to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Give it some time. I'm not talking right now, but I'm talking, January, late December, if things haven't changed, if you're middling around 500. One guy we talked about for Philadelphia, Zach LaVine. What do you think about Zach LaVine in Sacramento?
Think about
28 years old. What do you think?
He's a very talented offensive player. The Kings, and it's a different regime now, they had interest in him. They gave him an offer.
Yeah,
sheet.
they did. Yep.
But he's been on very few good teams, and he needs the ball a lot, and he would be very expensive to acquire, and I don't know that the Bulls are ready to move off of him. He would definitely be kind of a shot in the arm in the short term. In the long term, I'm not crazy about Zach.
Really?
And I know he's a very talented player.
To me, I would like a guy like Zach LaVine because he's not afraid. He's
That's
not.
true.
He's gonna shoot the rock. He can get you 40 on any given night. And so remember, we talked before the season about the Kings needing that third option, that third guy. We were all hoping it'd be Keegan Murray. So far, it hasn't been. Does Keegan cure all of that if he starts playing better? And maybe that's why you give it some time. Maybe that's why. But if Keegan by midseason isn't giving you what you hoped for, if he's not that 18, 19, 20 point per game scorer, man, it'd be tough to swallow that this season is just
You're right.
a 500 kind of season.
And here's the other side of that coin, Kyle. As you said, hey, the deadline's months away. You don't have to do anything yet. However, if this doesn't improve, and hopefully it will, hopefully
that's what we're saying. Yeah,
hopefully De'Aaron Fox comes back and you right the ship. But if it doesn't, then you're going to have to do something sooner rather than later if your objective is to salvage this season.
And because we spent the first hour doing a lot of arguing, if you will. But now we got to talk about solutions.
Mm-hmm.
How do you turn this around if you're Sacramento? What kind of player would you need in this Kings lineup? Like, who's the guy? Is it giving more minutes to a Keon Ellis, a Colby Jones? Does that fix it?
No,
that
doesn't fix it.
No, I'm not saying that's what you said.
I know we
but I'm
disagree
saying,
on that. But
do we have the answers in-house, if you will? That's the question.
one of the things that, let's look at what the Kings thought how they thought they'd be better this year. They thought the defense would be better, especially after a year in the system, right? So far, I mean, they've shown some promise there, but overall hasn't really happened. They thought Keegan would improve by leaps and bounds. Maybe he will. He hasn't yet. They thought Sasha would be a player, right? He hasn't contributed anything yet. So I think a lot of the things that the Kings were banking on, they just haven't happened yet. Maybe they will. Maybe there's time. But they had their avenues to improvement, and so far those avenues have just been shut down.
Yes.
And you're stuck in the mud while other teams in the West are getting better.
Yes, other teams are making big moves, swinging for the fences. They are being better. And so I want to hear from the Kings fan base out there, because right now I've seen a whole lot of complaining on social media and on the YouTube chat and everything, but nobody's coming up with no solutions. Hit us up, 916-339-1140. What would you do? What do the Kings need to be better? Is it just wait till De'Aaron Fox? Is it Colby Jones get some minutes? What needs to happen?
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Todd on Sactown Sports. Todd, you're on with the drive, guys. Hello.
Fellas, hey, thank you so much for the fiery conversation. We haven't heard that since a certain redhead left. But anywho, hey, again, patience. I don't know. I think the only frustrating thing is all they talked about is how deep this team was going to be, and if it's so deep, you should be able to withstand losing De'Aaron a little. But it does prove how important he is. And yeah, I mean, I think we need a second. Someone to slide in there in between him and Domas or him and Keegan until Keegan gets better. And, I don't like to talk bad about anyone, but yeah, we need a lot more out of Harrison Barnes. He's a veteran, and, I know Brown won't bench him, but he's the one who needs to be benched right now.
Thank you, Todd. We should hear what Harrison Barnes says about Todd, though. Whoa.
Todd naming names, though. How about that? He's naming names.
The Kings are deeper, but they don't have enough upper-tier talent. That's the thing.
Right.
They're a deeper team, but they thought, as I said, as we know, they thought that Keegan would start, and he still may. He would gravitate towards becoming one of those players. They thought Sasha would, if not become an all-star, at least become an offensive weapon. That's what I see with this team. De'Aaron Fox is out, and all of a sudden, there's a, call it what you will, a star void. There's a real void there in terms of having that star ability on your roster.
No, 100%. And let's be honest, stars win championships. This is a star-driven league, and right now, the only star you have is Domantas Sabonis, and he's being neutralized to an extent.
He's being compared to David Lee.
Yeah. Did you see that? Nate Jones tweeted out, is Domantas Sabonis the 2020s version of David Lee? How disrespectful is that?
David Lee had, 3 assists in his career?
Right. And I love David Lee, man.
He's an all-star.
All-star, great Golden State Warriors, played with the Celtics also. But that's disrespectful. But, when you look at it, and we talk about the depth of this team, the new guys really, Chris Duarte's averaging 17 minutes, Sasha 14 minutes.
They just haven't done much.
Haven't had
an impact.
But I think they need time too, though.
Sure.
Like, we're asking them to hit the ground running.
Well, that's what happens when, sorry guys, but De'Aaron Fox is hurt. So we need you to produce.
Right. Exactly. If De'Aaron Fox is playing, you don't need as much from Colby Jones or Chris Duarte. You don't need as much from Davion Mitchell. But I think when it comes to the new guys, Sasha Vezenkov, when it comes to the new guys, you got to give them some time too. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, a bailout, especially in the Western Conference, but this is 6 games in, Whitey. Now, if we're still talking like this 15 games in, then you can talk about, oh, man, we got to shake up the roster or these guys aren't working. They're 6 games in, and guys aren't getting regular minutes. Mike Brown's rotation is not set right now. It's kind of mitch or match, especially with De'Aaron Fox being out. Trey Lyles is going to come back. So, to Matt Barnes' point, he said, calm down. It'll be okay. Now, they got a big road trip coming up starting next week, starting with Lakers, then San Antonio. At the end of that road trip, which is after Thanksgiving, if things are still jacked up, then you can start to worry. But right now, I'm not going to panic too much right now.
Not going to panic, but at the same time, you are keeping the door open to potential trade if something opens up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, here's the thing, Whitey. We're talking about winning the championship.
Mm-hmm.
And as presently constructed, this team is not good enough to win a title. So if there's a move that moves you closer to that, of course I'm going to do that.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come right back, we'll look at some of the players that are believed to be either available or are believed to be guys that are going to be available down the road. Do any of them make any sense for the Kings? Or is the best course at this point for the Kings to stay the course? It's coming up here, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Which way would you go? What's your way out of this mess for the Kings? We'd love to hear from you. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a deal going on right now that you cannot miss. This summer was much shorter and cooler than normal, so that means Good Guys is overstocked and ready to clear out their warehouse. They've got inflation-busting pricing on a brand new heating and air system for just $82.99. No other company is offering a replacement system that low. Call Good Guys now at 530-GOOD-AIR to see if you qualify. That's 530-GOOD-AIR for a no-cost qualification appointment. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057618.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number 1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda.
Is he Kyle Draper? I like Pascal Siakam.
I like Pascal a lot.
He's a guy's probably not going to be around next year, or if he is, you got to pay him a lot of money, give him a lot to get him. That's what I don't like about the fit.
Yeah, I think there are better fits, but he's a talent.
No question.
No doubt. But here's the thing. To your point earlier, when you talk about stars, Domantas Sabonis is an all-star, third all-NBA guy, but he's not a scoring guy. Like, he's never going to get you 40 points. You know, he's not going to get you 35. That's just not him. And so you do need somebody with De'Aaron Fox. Who's that guy that's going to erupt for 30? They thought it would be Keegan. It hasn't happened yet. And so I think they do need at some point to upgrade and get a guy that can get you some buckets too.
Thanks for all the comments here in the text line and the chat. The text line, I can't keep up with it all, but thank you.
A lot going on, yeah.
From the 916, they definitely missed Lyles in this series with the Rockets because he would have been able to match their physicality and inspire his teammates to do the same. Also from the another 916 number, you want a name, and I'm telling you, any of the free agents would have been an upgrade. Pick a name, any name, and they are superior to Barnes. So here we go.
Here we go with the Harrison
Barnes sentiment. Here it comes. 707, seat of all knowledge and wisdom. Acquire Rudy Gay to mentor Keegan. Nope.
Nope.
Thank you, but he couldn't even make the Warriors. I thought he's going to at least make the Warriors.
Listen to some of these trade. Sabonis and Herter for DeRozan and Drummond. Sabonis and HB for Markkanen and Collins. I mean, what are people thinking out here, Whitey? First of all, Sabonis, HB for Markkanen and Collins. Utah would not do that. Markkanen is their guy. Like, he's a stud.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen. And DeRozan and Drummond, dude, those guys are on the downside of their careers. Like, it doesn't make sense.
We had Jerry was in Friday when you were on your way to Houston.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this, and Jerry said, like we both said, he's like, yeah, I mean, they could really afford an upgrade. It would benefit from an upgrade, but he just said it's going to be really costly to get somebody. But he said somebody like DeRozan to him would be a good fit.
Ooh.
Yeah. But again, he's not even available yet. But a veteran player, that might be a kind of a short-term thing. And
that's
really
the thing.
that interested in that.
Right. DeRozan's 34 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I want somebody on the same timeline.
Duarte for Christian Brown. Yeah. I'm sure the Nuggets.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure they do that.
Would
right?
leap at the chance.
Oh, see, but you know what? And somebody in the YouTube chat said it. He said, Derek said, why is everyone trying to sell? It's too early.
I think you can make a case, and I'm going to make the case for it. Even if things don't improve much short term, I think the Kings might be better off staying the course this year, even if this thing doesn't end up where we want it to this year, because they've got young players, they've got assets, and I don't think they should disrupt this path that they're on just because, we gotta make a playoff run this year. I mean, look at what the Thunder are doing, and the Thunder have more assets, and they're frankly further ahead than the Kings. There's an article today, was at NBA.com, and was their GM saying something like, we got to eat our breakfast first. Like, anytime a big name becomes available, people mention us, but we're not doing that yet because we're on a different path. And I think even if this year things don't go the way the Kings want, given where they were last year and given what they're putting together, I think it might behoove them to stay the course through the rest of the season rather than get rid of young assets, future assets for a veteran this year.
People are
going to like that, but I think it makes sense.
There's different levels of veterans, though. DeMar DeRozan, 34. No, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Somebody who's 26, 27, OG Anunoby maybe, with the promise that you're going to re-sign him after the season. Like, when do you cash in on some of the assets, or do you just keep building slowly using your draft picks, letting Keegan Murray develop? Like, what's the Kings' window? Domantas Sabonis is 27. I think they got a 5-year window as presently constructed.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you, what's how do you want this to build out? If it goes sideways a little bit this year?
Small market wise, I think the smartest thing to do would be to stay the course. And I know that'd be really hard because we all had so much fun last year. But I think I heard Alan and Chris talking about this today. If last year was like a one-off, does that mean this year's a failure? I don't think so. I think you could miss the playoffs this year, and hopefully they won't. But that doesn't mean that you're still not benefiting from some of the moves you made last year. These things don't always go, and it's the arc of a young team in any sport. They don't always go. What's the term?
Linear?
Yes, thank you. That's it exactly. They don't always go in linear fashion. You'd always get better the next year, better the next year, better the next year. Sometimes you got to be patient with the bumps and the dips, and that may be one of those years. If it's either that or going and get OG and Anunoby, I think I would stay the course. Does he make that much of a difference is my question. But I like him.
And what I'm worried about regarding that, though, Whitey, is the fact that when you look at other teams, I'm looking at the Western Conference right now. Oklahoma City, you could argue, they have a brighter future. And so while you build, OKC is already, like their core is younger than, like Sabonis is 27.
I agree.
And so they're going to be coming up. San Antonio is going to be coming up. We'll see with Phoenix, they're a little bit long in the tooth. I don't think the Timberwolves are going in. Anthony Edwards isn't going anywhere.
Big win for them last
night. Big win for them last night. And so I think outside of Denver, the Kings could be the second best team in the Western Conference, maybe third. And so I look at their window as the end of Denver's run, but then the beginning of OKC's run. And when will we ever really think, they're the best roster in the Western Conference?
I don't know. I just think if we think that we can squint and think, hey, the Kings with the guys they had last year, they had 2 guys that are all league. And then if you bring in, and I'm not picking on OG Anunoby because he's a good player. But if you think, you get him and you're a contender, I think we're fooling ourselves. I just don't think there's anybody available, as far as we know, that makes that much of a difference to make it worth giving up what this team would have to give up to get that guy.
So this begs the question, and I'm going to just throw this out there as a discussion point. If this roster is not good enough to make it back to the playoffs this year, let's say they come up short, I think that's a failure. I also think something needs to change then. Because if you can't do it this year, it's not going to get easier. I don't think Domantas Sabonis isn't going to get better. You hope Keegan Murray comes along and gets better, but how many years are you going to wait? And so that's why I think now is the time. You might not be a championship team, but you should be able to make some noise in the Western Conference. And so to hear you say, you know what, it's not linear. They may take a step back, and that's okay. There's development next. I don't know if I'm okay with that.
I understand. And there's no guarantee. I just would rather be closer to doing what Oklahoma City's trying to do than what the Bulls have been trying to do, which is the Bulls have, they bring in veterans trying to take shortcuts and become, legitimate playoff contender every year. Well, they're underperforming and they're kind of a mess. And I think that's what happens sometimes when you try to take shortcuts to building, especially for small market teams. You don't have access to, let's go get a superstar, the best player available. He'll come here. So I think you have to be more patient. I don't know for sure that it's going to work. You're right. I could understand why you'd have reservations about that. But I think that gives you a better chance than trying to, take shortcuts and let's get who's the best veteran available. Get that guy, get Kyle Kuzma in here, and then we're set. I think you're further away than that.
But I
think it depends on Keegan's development more than it does on bringing in a veteran.
It does depend on, like, Keegan was supposed to be that guy.
Yeah.
But, the OKC comparison is hard to match.
I know.
Because not only are they further, their players are younger.
Yeah, I know.
Like, their players have way more room to develop than our guys in Fox and Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is going to be who he's going to be.
Because they've been at it longer, too. That's one of the reasons they've been committed to that process longer.
Right. And they made the trades. They unloaded some. Remember, they got rid of Paul George.
Oh, yeah.
They got a whole bunch. It goes back years. And they, it's sort of like the process in Philly, but nobody called it that with Oklahoma City. Utah's doing the same thing right now. A lot of cracks at lottery picks. Sacramento's past that. And so where is our development going to come? Are we just hoping Keegan Murray is the guy? Are we hitching our future, our hopes that he develops to be the guy? Or, you know what? Keegan, you're going to be one of the guys. OG, you're going to be one of. Think about OG and Keegan as your starting 3 and 4. I like that. OG's 26, and I'm a believer that given a different opportunity, a different system, maybe being asked more, he can do more. And so I don't know what the answer is. I just know right now, they were the third best team in the Western Conference last year.
You
had 2 All-NBA. I think you're at if this is going to be your roster, you got to live and die with it, or do you make some changes and try to upgrade the talent? Still very early. De'Aaron Fox coming back could change all this. If him and Sabonis have All-NBA seasons again, then we're right back there in the mix.
Alfred E. Newman on the chat, upgrade anything over Herter. Ultimate Kingpin, anything over Herter and HB. So a lot of people are picking on.
So they want to get rid of 40% of our starting lineup. It's through 6 games at that. Wow.
Hey, it was ugly. We don't have to tell you that. You were there.
Yes, it was ugly.
Yeah. So how much is fixed just when Fox comes back, and when could that be? That's next year with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Tuesday. You'll need the shades and the jacket. So we head through the afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Today, a dry day with highs mid to upper 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for all your favorite models at low prices and payments, plus low finance rates and 0 down deals with approved credit. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
Your defending Big Sky champion Sacramento State Hornets are home this Saturday afternoon against the Cal Poly Mustangs. It's Military Appreciation Day at Hornet Stadium as we honor our local heroes. And don't miss the pregame flyover as kickoff is set for 2 p.m. Let's pack Hornet Stadium for the final regular season home game of the year as the Hornets strive for a 4th straight trip to the postseason. Don't miss any of the action or excitement of Hornet football. Get your tickets now at hornetsports.com. Stingers up.
Yeah, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from Truck Smart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since Truck Smart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Truck Smart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. Trucksmart.com. Your truck's gonna love them.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
Yeah, Rockets 122, Kings 97. And as you know, if you heard it here on Sactown Sports or you watched Kyle Draper with a call, NBC Sports California, you know that it was actually much worse than that. Yeah. It wasn't that close. Really wasn't. So 2 things we're trying to figure out here right now. 1, how much better does this get when De'Aaron Fox is back? How much of the problem does that solve? 2, this is something Matt Barnes mentioned when we talked to him. We haven't really talked about this at all, Kyle. What if last year was kind of I think he used the word fluke. Where does that leave you? What do you do with the rest of the season? And how are you even going to know that? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. And are you up for a trade? Is it time to make a trade? Or do the Kings have to really be seriously prepping for one before the deadline to get this season back on track? Let's talk to Casey here on Sactown Sports. Casey's on line 2 here. Casey, hi. You're on Sactown Sports. Drive Guys, what's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good. So, a couple things. Man, just really sickening watching these last 2 games. The problem that I have with some of the guys on the Kings is they just don't look like they care, and they're too passive. Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis are all way too passive. You can't have that many guys that are so passive, so afraid to shoot the ball. Like, Keegan Murray almost got yanked out of the game that one day when he didn't take that one shot. But do you think that's just because that one shot? No, that's something that Mike Brown's been seeing in practice and games. This dude's too scared to take the shot when he's wide open. You can't have these guys that are this passive. And these guys, they don't even seem like they care if they win or not. They're like, that didn't even affect them. Especially Harrison Barnes, you can't come out in game 1 and score 33 points and then score 34 or 35 points over the next 4 games. Like, if you show us that you have that in your bag, that means the rest of the nights that you're playing, you really aren't trying your hardest, because you have nights where you score 33 or you score 35, and then you go on a streak of 4 games where you score 7 points, 8 points a game. Like, that's not okay. Like, Mike Brown needs to be ripping into these guys. Like, where's your passion for the game? Like, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk are really the only guys on this team that I see that are like, they love basketball and they hate to lose. Like Kobe Bryant, he hated to lose more than he'd love to win. You have to hate to lose. We can't just be passive and sitting back, letting the other guy take the shot. I mean, I think Herter is okay, but he's kind of struggling, so he's kind of scared to take a shot now. But normally when he's going, he's ready to fire. So really only 2 of your starters Fox and Herter, when Herter's hot, are willing to just take the ball and go. The other three guys are passive, and I don't think you can succeed that way long term. And the only way we're going to improve this team, I think, at this point, if we want to get better, is probably trading Keegan Murray is the only piece that we have that can get us a piece that we need to get to that point. Other than that, we have to stay pat, like you said. So it's stay pat and run it out, or probably trade Keegan for if we traded Keegan for Siakam, we could probably make a package work. But other than that, we're stuck with what we have.
Casey, thank you for sharing your thoughts here. Well, let me ask you this, because you're on the road with the guys, and I understand why it looks that way to fans and to me. I'm a fan, but this team, they want to win, right? And Casey said, it looked like it on this trip on TV. It looked like, wow, do they care? But you can speak to that.
Are we really going to indict these guys over 2 games?
Yeah, because they were that bad. I'm not going to say they don't care. But
exactly, he's saying they don't care.
Yeah,
did they not care last year either?
They care. I'm not saying they don't care.
No, but that's what Casey said.
That is what he said.
He's saying that Keegan Murray's scared to shoot. It was a bad trip to Houston. I'm not making any excuses, but I'm willing to believe what I saw all of last season for 82 games. I saw on the road in Golden State. I saw them beat the Lakers. I saw them beat Utah, and they're without their leader. And so I'm not ready to indict this team and these guys as not winners or not caring or no heart or anything like that. It was 2 bad games. If they come out and lay the wood down on Portland tomorrow and beat them by 30, we're not having this conversation.
Right.
And so I need to see more for me to be alarmed and for it to be a trend. It was 2 awful games in Houston. I was there. I understand that. But I'm not going to indict these guys off of 2 games.
I wouldn't say that they don't want to win, but it looked like they were just confused. And I know how it's a difficult spot for you. You're on the road with them. But the last 2 games, after the first game, we all said, and I think you said something along these lines, hey, if they lose the next game, yeah, we got problems. Well, they didn't just lose the next game, last night's game. They got destroyed. So some things we got to figure out here, including why does the team look just so, almost shell-shocked?
And it was against the same team. Give Houston a lot of credit.
Yes.
And give Houston tons of credit. I thought Houston played their 2 best games of the season. They look great. With that being said, the great thing about the NBA is you always have a chance to rewrite your script. And so they have a chance on Wednesday. They got a chance on Friday. And so everything that's being said, it looks like they were shell-shocked. It looks like they didn't care. That's true. That's what it looked like. But it could turn around also. Did they not care in Golden State? And so this is what I'm talking about. We can't indict these guys off of 2 games. It looks that way, yes, but it's somewhere in the middle, right? They played their butts out in Golden State. Mm-hmm. They got up for Golden State. For some reason, they didn't get up for Houston. We'll see what happens tomorrow against Portland. But I'm not going to make this sweeping indictment or anything like that off of 2 games against Houston in November.
They just played like they were lost. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I said it earlier, and you heard it. You did the broadcast when they had the mix-up on an inbounds play, and Sabonis says, "What are we doing?
What are we doing?"
I just felt like that's kind of where it all is right now, guys. What are we doing?
Right.
What's the problem? That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Brown tinkers with the rotations tomorrow, just in an effort to send a message, and then B, just look for something that works, because it was appallingly ineffective the last 2 nights.
Yeah,
2 games, it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad, and that's the one thing Mike Brown can control, right? His playing time.
Yeah,
and he alluded to it yesterday in postgame that he needs to get 5 guys out there that are buying into the system, playing the Kings way, and so maybe there will be some shorter leashes tomorrow. Maybe Davion doesn't get the extended minutes. Maybe Keegan doesn't get the extended, Kevin Huerter. And so that's the one thing the coach can do. And we'll see what happens tomorrow.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Mitch joins us here on Sactown Sports. Hey, Mitch, how are you?
Good, guys. Thanks for taking my call. This is a slump. I just figured that it'll pick up. But I'm always wondering, Len, McGee, and Harrison Barnes, there's never been inconsistency throughout their whole career. It's like when they feel like playing. They didn't kick him out. I would like to see it, but I know what I want to see Sabonis leave or Keegan. You traded a lot for Sabonis. Keegan's it's a sophomore chance. I don't think so. He's a young play. And of course, Fox is untouchable. I think these will turn around. It's a tough conference. We didn't make any big trades. Gotta remember, it's a tough conference. We might not be in the top 5 this year.
Gotcha, Mitch. Thank you. Having a little bit of an issue with your phone.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying about JaVale McGee, but he's actually been the Rockets had no answer for JaVale McGee the last 2 nights.
JaVale was looking like Wilt a couple of times out there. And so, we still have yet to see that double big lineup that we thought. Maybe JaVale McGee is a guy that gets some more time. Maybe he plays alongside DeMontis, but I don't know. But I will tell you this. We landed at the airport last night at 1:30. I was asleep on the plane. I slept for 3 hours on the plane. I'm walking off the plane, and what do I see Mike Brown doing? Watching film, scribbling notes. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. And so to say, Mike Brown doesn't care about that one, he cares. Like, the dude is always working. He's not hanging out. He's not doing dinners. This dude is watching film time and time again. And so as unacceptable it is for us, trust me, it's unacceptable for he's trying to get to the bottom of it.
I have, obviously when you lose 3 in a row, you can always point to this or that. Oh, maybe they should have done this. I don't have any issues with the coaching with Mike Brown right now. And I'm not saying he's perfect.
Right.
But right now, as I look at the issues that Kings have, he ain't one. He's not close.
Right.
He's close. Not close.
Hey, everybody, you got some yahoos out there. Oh, Mike Brown's the problem. Come on. The dude guided us to 48 wins, changed the culture, and he's demanding a lot out of these players, as he should. As he should.
Let's talk to Gary here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Gary, you're on the drive, guys. How are you?
I was just calling because last year I went to the 3rd or 4th game of the year that they played against the Pistons, and they played like trash.
Yeah.
They ended up starting the season 0-4, I believe.
That's right.
And then
That's
1-5. So I think we're jumping the gun a little early, like regarding this. And as far as blowing up a team, unless you can get something like Karl Anthony Towns in a deal where you give up like 3 or 4 guys, it just doesn't make sense.
Thank you. That's true. Yeah, I was looking that up today because they started 0-4, and I think at one point they were 3-6. They were 2-4 last year, which is right where they are. Just again, the expectations totally different this year. And last year, I think everything was new, so it took Mike Brown longer to figure out who do I even have on my team. So this year, and it's one of the assumptions that fans make that we shouldn't make. The thought was, after last year, they're going to take off. They win 55 games easy this year. 50 at least, 55 easy. And it just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, and let's call it what it is, too. As bad as they've looked against Houston, and that's unacceptable, De'Aaron Fox is the guy that holds it all together. Like, De'Aaron Fox is the guy. He's the guy when things aren't going well. He has the big 4th quarter. And so, no, I think if De'Aaron Fox comes back, you win 3 or 4 in a row, all will be forgotten. Right now, we're in our feelings, Kings fans, and rightfully so. We got embarrassed twice in Houston. But, it's still early. And, I agree with the last caller. No need to go out there and swing for the fences or anything just yet.
You know what this is that a lot of people are feeling, and I'd never heard this term before. There's a guy by the name of Chris Eddy that used to be on TV in the area, and he's still on Twitter. He's a wonderful guy. And he was tweeting this morning. He says, I'm feeling something I haven't felt in a long time, my Kangxiety. Kangxiety. And Kings fans, we know what it's all about. And the last 2 games have given all of us a little bit of that. Oh, I forgot about that Kangxiety.
Yeah.
It's coming back. It's not a good feeling, Kyle.
It isn't, and everybody's like, oh, here we go again. But you just got to look at the roster. This is a better roster than some of those in the past. Like, this team will be okay. They will be in the mix for a playoff spot. We're hurting right now. We're wounded right now. I get it, but I think it'll be okay.
But how much time do they have in this West that is so competitive? That's next year. Along with your calls, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140 to Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Gold Country Casino Resort proudly presents an unforgettable night of professional boxing on Saturday, November 11th. Our event features a stacked fight card with exciting bouts of live boxing that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss out on this epic night of boxing action. Tickets are on sale now at GoldCountryCasino.com for this exciting event, November 11th at 7 p.m. only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad that those arch supports are in my shoes. I had terrible foot issues that prevented me from really having a normal life with my kids. With the Good Feet arch supports, man, I'm always ready. My kids actually got to enjoy me in the yard more, racing each other, backpedaling, teaching them some things, being a dad. If I had known about the Good Feet arch support earlier, I would have more than one championship. I would have 2 championship rings.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville.
The 49ers Report, brought to you by E.B. Stone. E.B. Stone, for the life of your garden. Despite being on their bye week, the 49ers had a good Week 9, with all other NFC West teams losing. The Red and Gold sit at 5-3 currently, regaining a hold of the top spot in the division, with Seattle's loss to Baltimore. The 49ers will look to rally in Week 10, heading to Jacksonville for a road clash with the AFC South leaders. And after adding former number 2 overall pick Chase Young at the trade deadline, the squad feels rejuvenated to make a run into 2024.
With over 100 years as a family-owned company, E.B. Stone's learned a few things about making plants grow. Start a healthy family hobby with indoor planting with E.B. Stone's Edna's Best indoor and outdoor potting soil to help your little plants grow into the perfect indoor plant for the kids and family to enjoy. E.B. Stone's indoor and outdoor potting soil is perfectly blended with all the important ingredients you need to create that perfect indoor and outdoor plant or garden. E.B. Stone, for the life of your garden. Visit ebstone.org for more gardening tips, products, and locations near you. Gobble, gobble, folks. It's that time of year again when the leaves fall, and so do the prices at Elk Grove Kia. We're bringing you Thanksgiving early with deals that'll make your wallet say thanks. This fall, our lot is stuffed with the latest Kia models, and we've carved out incredible savings. Get your hands on a brand new Kia with Elk Grove Kia's award-winning reliability and service you can trust. Unlike your Auntie's dodgy broccoli casserole. Don't wait until the turkey's on the table. Come to Elk Grove Kia and feast on the best deals this fall. And don't worry if you have challenged credit. Our finance team has over 100 years of experience. They may or may not have even helped a pilgrim or two get qualified. So hurry on down to Elk Grove Kia, where the prices are falling faster than Uncle Bob falls asleep in front of the football game at Thanksgiving. It's the Thanksgiving sale going on now at Elk Grove Kia, located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com. Elk Grove Kia, where the only thing bigger than our savings is our gratitude for our amazing customers.
Elk Grove Kia.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sactown Sports.
I think it's great. So many people calling and texting and on the chat, messaging Kyle and saying what a great job he did last night, and people wondering about his travels. And Amadrock on the chat even had an idea for you, a burger place where you could go if you ever wanted to stop on your way between here and Bay Area. He suggested Buzz Burgers in Vallejo, which I
want to write that down.
Yeah, because Buzz Burgers in Vallejo is so good. I've been there many times. Buzz Burgers in Vallejo is so good, I actually violated my own burger rule to go there. My rule is never eat at a burger place that's next to a pet hospital. That's my,
oh, dude, come on.
That's my rule. But for Bud's Burgers, I said, no, they're too good. I'm going to go ahead.
Oh, my God.
It's a personal rule.
A personal rule.
In the case of Bud's Burgers, like, yeah.
Why? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
I just feel like it's assuming risk that I don't need to assume. But Bud's Burgers, I'm sure it's fine.
Man.
And it's worth it.
Hold on. How do you
risk.
spell that? B-U?
Just Bud's, B-U-D,
B-U-D, apostrophe.
I don't know. Depending on which way you go, it might be kind of out of your way. Unless you go, I don't think you're going Golden Gate Bridge, are you?
No, I go straight down 80.
It might be out of your way then. But it's
it's legit, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been there a long time,
All right.
but it sure used to be. 33. Thank you, Amadrock. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Just trying to figure out here, how do the Kings get here? Where do they go from here? Is this anything that we should be concerned about? Or is it, hey, as a number of people have said, it's like last year, slow start, they'll be fine. But where are you with all this? Let's talk to Chris here on Sactown Sports. Chris, you're on with Kyle Draper, Whitey Gleason. How are you? What can we do for you?
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys. First off, I really appreciate that shout out to Chris Eddy. I grew up a Fox kid, so that was very close to home.
Great guy, yes. Good.
And he brought up something that I was actually going to bring up, that it felt like Kangs. And it almost harkened to that James Franco meme, where he's at the stockade going to be hung, and he looks over and says, "First time, huh?" And I think that's where we're at right now. We got some figuring out to do, but this team has showed resiliency in this past last season, and I'm really hoping they can pull it out. It's only been 2 games in Houston, but the confusion is a little scary. But yeah, I think they're going to pull it out. And thanks again for taking my call, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Great call.
Appreciate
Chris.
that. Yeah,
Really
because, for a lot of fans, we thought, all right, the hard times are over. And now we get at least a few years of being, legitimate contenders. And I think for a lot of fans, like, wait, we got to go through this again.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge.
Hey, let me ask you, though, because everybody, I know we got the PTSD from the 16 straight years of not making it. Do we really think this team won't be in the mix for a play-in or a postseason berth?
Well, let's be honest, that they should be, but the team from last night wouldn't be. So that's what's a little.
And there's no De'Aaron Fox now.
Yeah.
If injuries happen, yes, that could derail things. But I do think this roster is too good. I do think Mike Brown is too good of a coach. I feel like he's learned so much since his time in Cleveland and LA back in the day. And I do think they have the personnel to turn this around. De'Aaron comes back. You're missing your all-NBA guy, your best player. And so I honestly think on paper this team is so vastly superior than those 16 years that they missed the playoffs. And so this isn't, here we go again.
Well, the scary thing about that is the West, as you said, they'll be in the mix. Yeah, but the mix in the West this year could be, a vortex. It's going to be tough. I'm not trying to be negative. That's just the reality of it.
No, you're 100% right. It's a dogfight night in and night out, and that's what's so upsetting. Winnable games against Houston may hurt you in the long run when it comes down to, are you a play-in team or a playoff team?
Russ joins us here, Drive Guy, Sactown Sports. Hello, Russ. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, thanks for having me, guys. So my biggest concern here is not so much jumping off the cliff with this going, all right, Houston, 2 games early in the season. It's more along the lines of looking at something a little bit deeper than that going, okay, I'm looking more like Kevin Huerter. Like, where has Huerter been since January of last year? And I feel like his shooting slump has just been a continuation. And I feel like he has more to offer the team if he maybe takes a step back and he's coming off the bench where he can be not so much a spot-up shooter guy, but he can rebound, assist, score some points, be a facilitator type guy, and maybe we get Malik Monk into the starting lineup to rejuvenate some energy and then see where that might take us. Because I feel like, man, just since like January last year, I mean, he got off to such a hot start, and we all knew that wasn't going to last, but he's either hot or not. And I don't think they're going to go to where we want to get to if he's, in that kind of bipolar status.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Oh, thank you for listening. I got some thoughts on that, but I know.
Who is that? I forget the name. Wes.
Russ.
Russ. I'm trying to be so respectful, Whitey, because I got upset that first hour. I cut you off a billion times, so I'm trying to listen to the callers because this is their time to vent and speak out. But the numbers are inaccurate. After the All-Star break, Kevin Huerter shot 40% from three. Kevin Huerter was fine after the All-Star break. And so this whole notion that he wasn't good in January, you could also argue Kevin Huerter, outside of Keon Ellis, was their best player last night. Kevin Huerter was not the problem last night. Now, I do, he mentioned Malik Monk. Kevin Huerter's listed as 6'7". Malik Monk's listed as 6'3". And you don't have De'Aaron Fox. So are we really thinking about starting Davion and Malik? And so he talked about moving Kevin Huerter to the bench. Kevin Huerter, we know, has playmaking ability, so I understand that. But I don't think on this team you can have Malik in the starting lineup with Davion right now.
I think we did a good job of explaining that yesterday, Russ, in my opinion. We talked about this because we said, all right, Kevin Huerter, you got to play him because you need him to find his stroke. He said, important to you. You got to give him opportunities. I think we kicked this around, though. Okay, if he is shooting so poorly that you get off to a slow start with him in the starting lineup, then maybe you'd have to think about bringing him off the bench. But to your point, Kyle, last night he didn't start slowly. So that's the only reason I would ever not start him is if he's shooting so poorly that we're playing basically 4-on-5 offense in the first quarter.
Right, exactly.
That's not the case.
And that wasn't the case last night. And I thought he knocked down some shots the other day, Saturday, as well. I don't think Kevin Huerter is the problem. I think really what it is, let's call it, Sabonis has to be better than what we saw the last two games. And Keegan Murray he got to hit some shots.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening to Keegan Murray shooting? This guy was a 40% three-point shooter a season ago. And I know we're asking him to add some to his game, play on the other end. Right now he looks lost offensively. And so I'm going to have to find out what's going on with him because Keegan is the key to all of this. We talk about OG, Pascal, LaVine. Well, if Keegan is going to give them what they've hoped for and expected, we don't need to go out there and do all that. Right now, he's not delivering, though.
Yeah, he's the key to this whole timeline. He's the main guy going forward. He's the guy that they brought in, drafted, and he's got to become a star. And maybe the weight of that is, playing on his mind a little bit. I don't know, but you're right. He's got to shoot the ball better. Huerter, too. It started was it the Warrior game? Keegan had a lot of in and out. I know after the game, Mike Brown said, boy, he had a ton of shots in and out.
Yes.
And he's just been struggling since then.
Yeah, exactly. Going into last night, he was 1 for his last 15 from three-point range. And last night, Keegan Murray was 2 of 6. So he was 3 of 21. He's 3 of 21 over his last 3 games.
And in I almost said Oakland again. Sorry.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, I think he had 2 air balls. Remember, he had that one. I was like, well, that ain't right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Straightaway shot that missed everything.
And we've seen him struggle shooting at times. In December last year, he went through a stretch in which shots didn't fall down. And so shooting and making shots can cure a lot of what's happening. He's still wearing the little, thing. He's playing. He had it last year, right?
Yeah.
And he was fine. So, I think he's fine.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Thanks for all the calls. We're going to take a quick timeout. Thanks for the texts and the comments. We appreciate them. When we come back, we have Jason Anderson from the B at 4:15. Coming up next, what's the way out of this for the Kings? That and more your calls as we keep on rolling. It's the Drive Guys, a day after a tough loss on Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted, ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner.
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor car track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changers, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
500 Capitol Mall, Suite 2060, Sacramento, California, 95814. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports.
Local sports coverage, but for Kyle Draper, local restaurant coverage from
our guy Jay is hooking me up. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He just gave me 7 spots. burger joints, seafood joints, soul food
That's
spots.
some around here, some on your way.
On the way.
Bay.
You know what? Here's the problem. I live in Folsom. Great community, great town, great. But we ain't got the, real, real spots, if you know what I mean. We got a lot of chains, a lot of things, but I want the Sacramento flavor. I want the Bay Area flavor, and I'm not getting that,
Mm-hmm.
In-N-Out, that's not doing it for me. Mm-hmm. I need the real spots. And so if people got any restaurant suggestions, I'm a foodie, man. I love to eat. I don't cook. I'm too old to be cooking.
Yeah, that and where are we with the Kings? Where are you with the Kings?
Oh, yeah.
Panic time? Time to even know where the panic button is. That's where I am. It's like, I just want to know where it is.
Let's look at them phone lines, big fella. I love it.
I don't need to press it yet, but I want to make sure I know where it is. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Kevin joins us. Kev, thanks for hanging on. You're on the drive, guys. Hello. Kevin.
Turn down your radio, Kevin.
Kevin,
you
Kevin's
there?
talking to us. He doesn't know he's on. Kev.
You're with me.
Hello. He's talking to somebody. He doesn't know he's on the radio.
He might be at one Nation's Burger or Tori's place or something, ordering some grub.
Sorry about that, buddy. We'll get back to Kevin. Nick. Let's give Nick a try. Nick, you're on Sactown Sports. Hello.
What's up, boys? How you doing?
Good. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much. We're just talking about the Kings. I kind of put this on Monty a little bit because this roster has 0 wing players that can get their own shot that have length. And I really wanted Oubre in the offseason or Brooks. But as you can see, nobody here can get their own shot. And if the threes ain't falling, then we got nothing.
Thank you, Nick.
Now, that's a great call, Nick. And he's partially right.
It's a good point.
It's a good point.
I don't want Kelly Oubre, but it's a good point.
So are we just forgetting what happened last year, or was that lightning in a bottle? Like, they're getting, and I said it during the show last night, they're getting the most open looks out of anybody in the entire association. Right now, they're not falling. And so 3 weeks ago, nobody was talking about, Monty didn't go out and get Kelly Oubre. I didn't hear that. Oubre's playing great right now for Philly, by the way. He's a steal for them. But I'm a firm believer that, you know what? They may not be championship level, but they're better than what we saw these last 2 games. Mm-hmm. And so I still got them, 46 wins, 45 wins, but they got to start making shots. Shooting the ball, Doc Rivers used to say, make miss league. You make the shots, it's great. Keegan Murray's getting a ton of great looks, guys. They're just not falling right now.
Yeah. Part of the problem is you play Houston, and they got guys like that just, coming out of their ears. So those players like Jabari Smith and Jalen Green. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Tariq joins us on Sactown Sports. Hello, Tariq. How are you? Tariq?
Cool.
Yo, what's up, baby?
Hey.
I appreciate it. I want to talk about the Kings, but real quick, best burger spot on 16th and Broadway called Willie's Burger. Amazing. You need to try it.
Writing it down.
You get the onion rings and the hammer 4. That's the only recommendation. I don't want to talk too much about it. So I agree with you guys. Still too early in the season to hang on our Kings. I don't think last year was a fluke. Now, if the trends do continue on a downward, which I hope they aren't, what players would you guys, think of trading to upgrade our team? And, that's really all I had, man. Thank you, guys.
All right, Tariq, you want to answer that first, Kyle?
Is he talking about what players do I want to get rid of, or
that's
what players? I can't go there. I'm not. We all know the usual suspects, the movable contracts. But who are you going to get? Is OG available? Is there another disgruntled star? I'm trying to think of a team that's going to be underachieving that may want to.
The Bulls. We mentioned the Bulls a lot.
I'm a Zach LaVine fan. He's only 28 years old. I know it's going to cost a lot, but you talk about a guy that can go out there and when De'Aaron Fox, because right now what's happening is De'Aaron has to be great, and it shouldn't be like that. Other guys going to have to play better. Malik's got to play better. Herter's got to play better. And so De'Aaron Fox comes back. Are we going to ask him to score 35 a game again? No. Other guys got to make shots. And so if they don't, then I'm looking at bringing in another offensive weapon, a guy that can get you 25 or 30, and Zach LaVine's that guy.
I hope I can clarify something about a name that is being thrown around a little bit, and I don't think it should be. If you check like Hoops Hype, you'll see rumors about Donovan Mitchell. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's going anywhere. No. I don't think the Cavs want to trade him. Apparently what happened is Joe Ingles, his former teammate in Utah, was talking to somebody and said, I think he wants to play in New York someday. So then people start thinking, do you have to be traded? Oh, Donovan Mitchell's going to be traded to the Knicks. Oh, he's available for trade. I don't believe he is. So I just think we can save a lot of energy. Don't worry about Donovan Mitchell to the Kings. They had their shot at him like a lot of teams did in the draft, and they missed, and we move on.
I agree. I don't understand all this. And Donovan Mitchell is set to become a free agent, if I'm correct. And he has been linked to the Knicks. The Knicks reportedly coveted him. But you know what kind of haul it would take to get Donovan Mitchell? Like, you would have to start with Keegan, first of all. Multiple first-round picks, 2 or 3. Like the same kind of deal that, we just saw, when Kevin Durant went to Phoenix or something like that. He's that kind of player.
For a guy that wants to go to the Knicks.
For a guy. So the Donovan Mitchell stuff, it ain't happening. I don't think he's going to get dealt. So I would like to see, like I said, Zach LaVine. I'm a big Zach LaVine guy if things go sideways this season.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. TC is back with us.
Yeah.
Hello, TC. How are you?
What's up, brothers?
Hey.
Dog, you just waking up?
Nah. Listen, I just chimed in. I was pulling in some trucks, man. I'm just getting off.
All right, what you got?
Hey, now listen, check it out. Listen, man. Hey, let's keep it short and sweet. Check it out. Monty is doing a great job. The only thing I feel like Monty should have did was like, not just because Dylan, ices, but at the same time that the shenanigans and his defense and his physicality is what we were looking for. So I think that we should, instead of signing Barnes, we should have went out to go get Dylan Brooks on that note. I was a big Dylan Brooks. I was calling y'all talking about Dylan. Dylan would have fit perfect. He would have been that perfect piece that we needed as far as defense. On the other end, we just got to hit shots. Keegan got to stop drifting, all that. Like, if it's too much on his plate, Mike, put Keegan back like last year. Bro, you're just a spot-up shooter. You're not going to be our third guy yet. We might do that next year with you. You might just need to be a spot-up shooter and grab rebounds if this is too much for you. You drifting on shots, shooting off-balance free. I'm not with all that, bro. Keep it simple. Domas. If you're going to be you have to be the second best player to Fox, not just another guy on the court. I told the guys earlier, Domas has to be the second best player. You can't be out there super passive, bro. You have to be the second best player, not just a dude. That's all I got.
Thanks. I think if that's going to be the case, Domas has to be much more aggressive offensively. He's got to be much more aggressive.
No, he has to be. 4 shots ain't going to get it. Houston did a great job taking him away. But he has to, you know what? Nobody's going to get mad at Domantas Sabonis for shooting it 15 times a game. Like you said earlier, that foul line jumper, that 17-footer, he has to take that. He can make it.
They're rolling out a red carpet.
Yeah, they're like, go ahead, shoot it. And he's not taking it. And so I need, I'm a firm believer, Whitey, that, to get over the hump, let's say you're Domantas Sabonis and you don't like shooting the ball. Well, if I'm Mike Brown, I'm telling Domas, if you don't shoot this darn ball 15 to 20 times tonight, you're getting yanked out. And so go completely over the top. Shoot 23 times and then bring it back a little bit. Yeah, 4 times just not getting it done.
Kevin joins us now. Let's give Kev one more try here. Sactown Sports. Kevin, are you with us?
Okay.
Yeah.
I am.
Hello.
All right, what you got, Kevin?
Yeah, this Chicken Little, the sky is falling stuff makes for great radio. And that's all this is, period. Everybody's butting heads. Oh, my God, it's all over. What the hell happened? No, it's 6 games in. It's laughable. And earlier, I think Whitey said that, it's a Western Conference. We're running out of time. Bull. We're going to be fine. Everybody settle down, get some rest.
Thanks, Kev. Appreciate that. Somehow I don't feel better, but thanks. Appreciate the effort.
Did you say it like, we're running out of time?
Yes, that's how I talk. That's how I talk, yeah. We're running out of time. West is tough, Kev, but good for you.
Chicken Little, I like that, though. I like that.
Keep the faith. When we come back, Jason Anderson, Kings beat writer, sports editor for the Sacramento Bee. See if he thinks the sky is falling. And when he joins us next, Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Kings basketball is back. Coming off an exhilarating playoff run last season, you don't want to miss seeing this team in action. Be there when De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, new addition Sasha Vezenkov, and the Beam team take the court at Golden One Center. Plus, catch the all-new NBA in-season tournament games against the Thunder on November 10th and the Warriors on November 28th. Tickets for games this season start at just $18. So head to kings.com/tickets, and together, let's bring the roar.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
But the West is so tough. The Kings are running out of time. Jason Anderson from the Beat should be joining us here momentarily. He obviously, as not only the beat writer for the Beat for the Kings, but also their editor. He's got a lot going on.
Yes.
He's got a lot on his plate.
And he was on the ground there in Houston. That's why I wanted to have it. He saw it up close and personal. He went in the locker room afterwards and talked to the players as well. And so no better guy to get on to talk about what the heck is going on with our Sacramento Kings.
Tin Lamb says on the chat, shoot more threes, become a three-point big man. Domas. Arthur Smith. No, we don't need LaVine. He'll have to give up the squad. He can stay in the East. I like Zach LaVine, but I don't think I want him on my team. Again, it's gonna cost a lot to get him, and he's gonna throw a lot of things out of whack in terms of who's getting the most shots. He's gonna need the ball a lot. I don't know, Kyle. I don't know. He's a good player, no question about that. I don't like the fit. I don't feel like the fit is right.
I think he needs to be surrounded by a good system. Like, what's the Bulls system? They run a lot of ISO ball, I think. A lot of DeRozan mid-range, a lot of, the Kings offense, a lot of motion, a lot of movement. Zach LaVine in space is one of the best guards out there. It won't all be on De'Aaron Fox.
Shot, because, again, you got to give up so much to get somebody the other way. Although if you would you trade Keegan theoretically to get that guy? Would you consider
No.
Would you consider it?
No. Not for Zach LaVine. No, it would have to be, a top 10 player in the league for me to trade Keegan Murray right now.
Yeah, so for you, it'd be like Dylan Brooks. You'd do it.
I told you I'm a Dylan Brooks guy. Now everybody is seeing what I saw. I was meaning, man, if we could, Dylan Brooks shoot 56% from three. He leads the league in 3-point percentage. He's exactly what this team needs. Go ahead.
This is exactly who we need to talk to. Sports editor, Kings beat writer for the Sacramento Bee, Jason Anderson. Jason, how are you? Thanks for your time today. What's going on?
Oh, not too much, guys. Just got back. Just landed.
Oh, yeah.
4-hour flight.
How surprised are you by what has happened to the Kings the last couple of games, Jason?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. That was, they were certainly disappointed. I know their fans were disappointed in the performance there. I didn't see that coming. Even with De'Aaron out, I think this team, should have enough talent and the continuity from last year to be able to win games like those, and to just come out and fall so flat was pretty disappointing to see.
Jason, obviously it's early in the season, 6 games in, but 2 bad losses to the Houston Rockets. What can you put your finger on? What can you point at and say, you know what, this is what they are not doing this year that they did last year?
Well, I mean, I've written about this the past few days when I was in Houston. I would refer people to my most recent stories at sacb.com if anyone is interested. But I really think there's an issue here. And Drapes, you were there. I asked Mike last night about an identity crisis. And yeah, it's only 6 games, and he played 3 of those without De'Aaron. And De'Aaron changes a lot. Okay, so that doesn't happen if he's out there. First of all, but second of all, I think there's an underlying issue here where the coaching staff is pushing on this team to be more physical, to be more defensive minded, and they're not worried about the offense. We've heard it 100 times from them. We know we can score. We know we can score. Well, you scored 97 last night and 89 on Saturday night. And, it seems to me, and in talking with some of the players, I actually had a couple of them acknowledge during this trip that, yeah, it's hard. Like they're being asked to run and they want a fast-paced team, but they're also being asked to be more physical and intense defensively. And when you do those things, it takes them out of you. There's some exertion there, and I think the legs haven't been there. I mean, so we're seeing some really bizarre, like, offensive numbers and shooting numbers. This is a team that had the best offense in the history of the NBA last year. Number 1 in offensive rating, number 1 in points scored, and right now they're middling. Like they're mediocre offensively. Their field goal percentage before last night was 27th in the NBA, and I think it probably went down. So they ended up at 44.4% last night because they had a hot fourth quarter. But like those first 3 quarters were just atrocious, and you can see the I don't know, the fatigue on the guys when they come off the floor. And they've been running up and down. They're trying to do what Mike is asking them to do defensively. But I think it's possible that it's taking something out of them offensively. And you're taking what, Mike likes to talk about what your superpower is. And for a guy like Davion, that's his defense. For this team, the superpower is that offense. And right now they're willing, to I don't know, they're willing to sacrifice something there in the short term, because Mike feels strongly that to achieve real postseason success, you've got to be tough and intense and physical on defense. And I'm not, he's coach of the year. I'm not going to argue with him. He's been there. He's done that. And here in Sacramento, we haven't. So I think there still has to be buy-in for what his plan is. But I do think I do think that it's probably a factor right now in what we're seeing from them with some of these offensive struggles.
Jason Anderson with us from SACB.com. By the way, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. It's interesting you mentioned that, Jason. I thought that was a fascinating quote you had. I think it was yesterday from Davion to that point. So given all of that, what do you think disappoints Mike Brown the most right now about the way the Kings are playing?
Well, I think one is the pace. They want to run like crazy still. And they had, I think they had 2 fast break points in Saturday's loss. And last night they were getting outscored on fast break points 14-2 at the half, and the game was all but over. And Mike, celebrated the fact that they got to 11 at the end of the game. I'm not sure if you realized or not, they only had 2 at the half. So that's a big issue. They want to run. They want to get fast break points. They got punished last night in the paint, 50-38 on points in the paint. He's not worried about the offense as much as he is about, you'll hear him say it all the time, playing together, playing the right way. And when the shots aren't falling, he doesn't want to see heads and shoulders slumped. He wants to see guys that engage even more defensively and fight even harder defensively. And this is an adjustment for this group that just hasn't been good defensively for years. And they showed flashes of it last year. They were actually pretty decent in the playoffs, I thought. Again, when Fox is out there, I think it changes things because Fox, for all of maybe what might have been some of his faults in the early years of his career, this year is, I believe, taking a big step on that end of the floor, and has become kind of a defensive catalyst for them. So again, I don't think we're having this conversation today if Fox was out there over the weekend. But here we are, and I think those are the issues that Mike's really looking at. He wants his team to be able to do it, no matter who's out there. He's big on the next man up mentality, and this team has the talent and the depth to be able to, survive 2 or 3 games without somebody. But unfortunately, in this case, they just didn't do that.
Jason Anderson, Sac B, covers the Kings, sports editor. Jason, you were out there in Houston. You saw both games. What's going on with Domantas Sabonis? What did the Rockets do that thoroughly neutralized him, and what areas does he need to be better for this team?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, Alperen Şengün is a good young player, and I think not just at that spot, but at other spots. I don't know if you noticed this, Drapes, but there was a size and strength and physicality difference at most positions. The Rockets were bigger and stronger, and they've got a couple of veteran additions there with Fred VanVleet and obviously Dylan Brooks, who gave them the business on Saturday night, and even Jeff Green being out there. I mean, these are tough veteran dudes, and they've kind of brought something to that team. And, I just thought they kind of had them beaten physically. And then that includes Domas. I mean, we see Domas, Domas is a physical guy. He's a strong guy. And he'll get in there and bang bodies. But he just didn't seem comfortable, especially last night, to finish with a line like, for him, 8 points and 8 rebounds and 5 assists. That's pretty pedestrian. Like he hadn't even rolled out of bed in the morning, and he's got 8, 8, and 5. So, I don't know. He only took 4 shots in that game too. Only got to the free throw line 3 times. I just think it's a physicality thing right now where they're maybe being overmatched a little bit in some ways. And I don't know what this is, but I noticed last night in particular that the Kings like to touch the paint a lot. And they're emphasizing like these cutters and all this stuff where they're trying to get points. But like that, the lane was packed last night. Like somebody got into the lane and there were 3 or 4 bodies there to contest everything. And so I'm going to have to look at the film on that myself and see if there was something different, or maybe talk to Mike a little bit about it and see what's going on there. But, there just wasn't a lot of room to operate, inside in particular. And, it certainly appeared to disrupt Domas.
There's not enough Kings coverage around here these days. There's great Kings coverage, sacb.com, Jason Anderson, the beat writer. Jason, thanks so much for your time, especially, on a busy travel day. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night. We hope to talk to you again soon on the show.
My pleasure. Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Take care. Yeah, once again, all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Some really interesting things in there.
Yes, and Jason is a guy that is in the locker rooms. He's at the press conferences. He's not afraid to ask Mike Brown the tough questions. And we go back to what we talked about earlier, this Kings team identity. Who are they? We know who they want to be, but who are they? It might, like Jason pointed out, what Mike Brown wants and who they actually are 2 different things.
Yeah, the Kings struggling to become what their coach wants them to be.
Yeah.
That's next year in the Drive, guys. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's the model year-end sales event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said, I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around the store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Guys, your promise is your word, right? You stick by it, you live by it. So does Revive Men's Health with our Revive Promise for low T and ED. The Revive Promise means your tests and lab work are free when you begin treatment, and our low T and ED treatments are money back guaranteed. Yes, that's right. We stand behind our treatments and our results. That's our promise to you. Revive Men's Health has successfully helped thousands of men with low T, ED, and sexual health issues since 2011. If you're experiencing symptoms like chronic low energy, less drive, sleep issues, weight gain, poor performance, bad moods, or ED, you need Revive. Don't settle. Get affordable, guaranteed, custom low T and ED solutions with lasting results from Sacramento's favorite men's clinic. And remember, there are no extra bills when you begin treatment. All labs and tests are free, and your low T and ED treatments are money back guaranteed. Call Revive Men's Health Sacramento today to schedule your appointment. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Hey y'all, this is Bill with the Good Guys. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling now. Tired of overpriced repairs? Call the Good Guys. Jaw-dropping quote for a new HVAC system? Call the Good Guys. Don't trust the other guys. Call the Good Guys. We offer free second opinions. Family owned and operated, always ready to serve the community. We offer the best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull.
Call 530-GOOD-AIR. License number 1057618.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Let me tell you something. Here's how rough the Kings were last night. There have been zero complaints today about the officiating. There shouldn't be any, but that's how badly they played. No one even went there. You know, even after Saturday, there was complaints about the officiating. After last night, it wasn't that.
Which is crazy because you had three guys with 3 fouls in the first half, and not one person is saying, oh, man, those were horrible calls. Right. Malik should only have, everybody's just like, they were pretty much fouls. Yeah, no doubt.
Here's a proposed trade for you, Kyle Draper. Proposed trade alert.
All right, let's do it.
This is from Ultimate Kingpin. He says, Sabonis Herder for Markkanen Sexton.
No, he did not say that.
It's right there.
Oh, my gosh. What is going on here? Did he really say that? Let me look. Is that in the YouTube chat?
Yes, sir.
First of all, let me say this. Anytime Ultimate Kingpin says anything, I'm probably going to tune it out.
Grain of salt.
He's been slandering my guy, Mike Brown, all in the YouTube chat.
Oh, boy.
And then he just thinks, Utah's just going to give you their 7-foot all-star who's a unicorn. Come on, Ultimate. You're embarrassing yourself right now.
Lauri Markkanen has taken 78 threes this year, 9 a game. He's made 34 of them. He's shooting 44% on his threes. On his threes!
Oh, my God. Oh, he threw out another one, too. Sabonis herder for Jared Allen and Darius Garland. Come on, man. What are you doing?
He's having fun.
What are you doing?
So he thinks. So it's interesting, Jason Anderson from the B joining us and suggesting that, it's possible that Coach Brown is asking this team to do some things that this team right now physically isn't capable of doing. How about that notion?
Yeah, because what's interesting about that whole thing that Jason brought up and you and I mentioned right before the break, Mike Brown, as we know, is a defensive-minded coach. One thing he was able to do, sure, he wanted his guys to play defense, but he accepted who they were and their style last year. This year, he's trying to push them to go farther, obviously, and so he's asking more of them, which I understand. I get it. Now we have to decide, and I know it's only 6 games in, if we're still having these issues 10, 15, 20, you got to say to yourself, maybe we just can't be that. Maybe we got to be the best versions of who we are, and maybe we can't. And if we can't be that, then Monty McNair has some work to do, right?
Yeah.
Monty McNair has to go out there and get the players that can get you that way. And so I thought last year, we didn't hear Mike Brown harp as hard as he is about defense and physicality last year. I think, like I said, he accepted who they were. Sure, he wanted them to be better defensively, but he understood offensively they were great and they were winning games, so he let it rock. Now he's pushing them even harder, and they might not be capable of that.
Yeah, try this on. Last year in the playoffs, he felt they should have won that series. I think he's right.
Right.
And he felt that if they were more physical defensively, they would have won that series. And he feels going into this season like this is a good team. This team has a chance to really make a deep run into the playoffs, but they've got to play better defensively. So that has to be my focus because I want this team to be a competitive team, a team that has a shot at a championships, and they have to be able to defend at the higher level. And so we have to be able to do that. And I'm not sure right now this team can.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Whitey. When you look at the numbers, they are a better defensive team.
Yes,
that no doubt about it. They are a better defensive team statistically, but it's sacrificed their offense. And so there's a fine balance.
But we don't know for sure that's why, right?
Right.
We don't. Possible.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, it's possible. And, Jason Anderson had the story, Davion Sam,
really
baby, and so, but here's the thing about the Kings. You don't have to be a top 5 defense in the NBA to win a championship. We talked about it last year. The Denver Nuggets, they were middle of the pack. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Mike Brown's trying to get them to all of a sudden be the Pistons of back in the day, yesteryear, and lock it down, with Ben Wallace or with, Bad Boys Pistons or anything like that.
Rick Mahorny walking through that door.
I think he just wants them to be middle of the pack. And what's interesting, because I just pulled the numbers
up.
I
checked, they were like 17th.
They've dropped to 22nd.
Oh, man.
Over the last couple of games. So they were like 15 or so a week ago.
Yes.
After these Houston games, they've dropped back. And so you're not playing great defense, and your offense is still suffering. So you're not doing anything well right now.
Right. And you look flat. You look tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the answer, though? Like we talked a whole lot about trades and things. That's not going to happen anytime soon. This is what we got.
If it happens at all, you're right.
If it happens at all. This is what we got. And so what needs to happen? Is it a lineup change, which maybe you alluded to a little bit? Is it a shorter leash on some guys? And Mike Brown talked about that last night. Outside of Domas and Fox, and he said even those guys have a leash, like their leash is longer, obviously. But outside of that, guys, it might be like you said. Maybe Davion doesn't get as many minutes. Maybe Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray. Maybe he feels like, you know what? You're the guy, but you're not performing like it. Maybe Sasha gets minutes. I don't know what the answer is, But if I'm in that locker room, I'm frustrated today.
I'm telling you, a big part of it is this, and if I'm right, they already know this, and they've already
what you got?
Made corrections. It's like we were talking to Matt Barnes about. Teams have figured out, they run their offense through Sabonis. We play off Sabonis like the Warriors did, and then the offense just stops working.
Yeah.
The dribble handoffs don't work. So I think they're going to have to, and you said they've already started doing this, they're going to have to mix that up more and give teams more different looks offensively, because for now, what's been their bread and butter, it's not productive. It's not functioning. And plus, on top of that, you got guys missing shots. So they got to mix up some things in terms of their strategy offensively. I'm not suggesting the coaches don't know what they're doing. Coaches know what they're doing. But it's not easy to figure out, all right, well, how do we get around the fact that people are missing shots? But I think that's one possible solution going forward. And I'm going to be keenly looking to see what adjustments they make starting tomorrow night.
Yeah, I want to see what adjustments, because one thing I've heard, from the coaches is they're getting great looks. And so do you just live and die with that? You hope that someday, guys start actually knocking them down. I think they're in a rough stretch right now. Keegan especially, I mentioned it. What is he? 3 of 21, I think, over his last 3 games. I mean, that's not Keegan Murray. We've seen this guy play at a high level on both ends of the floor. And so I think right now he's going through a big-time slump. And I think that's a big part of what's going on with the Sacramento Kings. We asked for Domantas Sabonis to do so much, but the way things open for Domas is if those shooters knock down shots.
They're pressing.
They're pressing big time. Everybody, too. Not just Keegan. Kevin Huerter is pressing. Davion to an extent. Like all these guys. Duarte. And so they need to just chill.
Mm-hmm.
Just relax, guys. It'll be okay. And I'm hoping being back at home.
Yeah.
You got 3 straight games at home. You got Portland, OKC, and you got Cleveland. Talked about Donovan Mitchell. We get to see him next week. And so you go 3-0 on there, and we're all good. Everything's fine. I'm just hoping this doesn't linger on. I mentioned it earlier regarding the rotation and Kevin Huerter. 10 to 15 games. That's when I need to see, okay, it's not working. Let's make some changes.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You want to shoot us a text, want to give us a call. Dell has been hanging on. Let's talk to Dell on Sactown Sports. Hello, Dell. You're on the drive, guys. What's up?
Dell or Bill? I think it's Bill.
All right, if it's Bill, I don't know what happened to Dell, but that's fine, Bill. How are you doing? Bill? What'd you do to Dell? Never mind.
And there you go. Well, the main thing is like I said earlier, the losses. There's only 6 games. They're either going to improve or they're going to get worse. One of the two. And we get to watch and half them, and we get to be fans. But the one thing that they need to do is they need to go make defense one way and one way only, and make it simple. And if they are so tight on their man, each person that does, even when they switch, that they can't catch the ball, then what happens? They can't shoot the ball if they don't have it, right? So they need to get in tighter. They're playing 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 9 feet off of their man. They're playing chase. They're not playing defense. They're letting their man go by them. They're running after him. And then they don't have enough sense to foul them before they go up for a shot. You have 15 players you can play, and you get 5 fouls each. You got a lot of fouls that are not shooting fouls that would take away a lot of 3-point plays where you try to check them when they go up. Now they got a 3-point play right under the basket. They got to play smarter, and they got to play simple. Stay with your man. Stay with him. Stay tight. Make you so close you can't get a basketball in between them.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Dell. Appreciate hearing from both of you. Last night, the problem was, and we saw this with a few guys, so I'm not going to, we don't need to mention any more names,
right.
But you'd have Jalen Green get the ball in the wing, and his men would be off of him because he knew, I can't guard this guy. And Jalen Green will still just look, fake one way, go right around him.
Yeah, and that goes to the personal pride, right? You got to have some, the old saying is guard your yard, right, Whitey?
Yeah.
And so too many times yesterday, they just let guys, and Mike Brown alluded to it, guys driving by them, but also guys just getting right in front of you inside the restricted area, getting low, catching the ball, and able to go right up.
Could you hear? I mean, there was the heartache. Can we play that again? I think that was our first cut, because you can just hear the heartache in his voice when he describes what went wrong with the Kings defense. Here's Mike Brown from last night.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay clear through the night tonight. Overnight lows will drop down into the low to mid 40s. Tomorrow will be sunny but breezy with highs near 70. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
Team, it's snowing again tomorrow. They're predicting 2 to 3 feet.
'Tis the overtime season for Frank snowplows.
Kelly, can you take another shift?
Let it snow. Quality driver applicants.
Hey guys, know anybody else with a D license?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with 0 down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Mike Brown had some heartache in his voice yesterday. We'll hear that in just a moment when he talked about what went wrong defensively. I don't know about you, Kyle. I know a lot of Kings fans had despair in their hearts, just confusion in their minds. I feel a little better today after talking with you and all the smartest listeners in radio. I feel a little better about things.
Do you really?
A little bit.
You know, at the end of the day, Whitey, it's 2 bad games. Now, if they come out and lay an egg tomorrow at home, the show's going to be crazy. I'll be on fire. But, you know, all will be forgotten if they handle business tomorrow, Friday, and Monday. So it'll be okay.
And no moral victories, right?
No, of course. No, heck no. Against
Thank
who?
you.
Not against Portland.
Okay.
Come on. I don't believe in moral victories.
They were in the game in the fourth quarter, though. No.
If you're trying to be who you want to be, a contender in the West, no such thing as moral victories.
Here was Mike Brown after the game talking about how his team was manhandled by the Houston Rockets.
Give Houston credit. They kicked our behind, starting with me. They kicked my behind and on down the line. They came ready to play tonight and punched us in the mouth, and we didn't respond. And it was evident when you look at the game and you watch us defensively, just how many times in the first half somebody on the weak side block ducked in front of our defender and caught the ball at the charge line. I don't know if I've been part of any situation where we gave up 4 or 5 duck-ins to where the duck-in was at the charge line. That's just the evidence of them kicking us in our behind. And then the tough part about it, our spirit got deflated, and we didn't have anybody out on the floor that could bring it back up. And so that also was tough to watch.
That's the most dispirited I've heard him since he's been coaching here.
No, 100%. And, you know, because he mentioned their spirit. That's something we haven't had to worry about with this team. All of last season, sure, things didn't always go their way, but they always had that fight in them, always that spark. They may lose games, shots may not fall, but it looked like, and we talked about it earlier, I don't know if, you know, the punked is the right word, took your heart, I don't know. But, you know, we had the last caller, said the Kings need to do this defensively. Well, that's what the Rockets did to the Kings. They were up in their airspace. You couldn't dribble. You couldn't get your passes off. The dribble handoff wasn't working. And so if I'm Mike Brown, what Houston did, that's what you want. That's what you want from your team. And, you know, it's a lot to ask, but Houston was able to do it last night. So this whole notion, you know, they're asking a lot on the defensive end. Well, if you want to be a good team, that's how you got to play. That's it. That's how you got to play.
I would think that job one for Mike Brown before tomorrow night is to somehow get this team feeling positive about anything. I mean, it's easy to look at the X's and O's. They got to defend. That's all true, but they're playing so demoralized right now.
Yeah, and you know, I'm envisioning tomorrow, and as you were saying that, I'm thinking, man, they're going to come out fired up. They're going to come out moving the ball. And that's not on the coach, Mike Brown. The players should be able to see that too, right?
Yeah.
When they go back and look at the film, and HB or Herter, they're just standing around. Everybody's looking at Domantas Sabonis. They should have in their mind, you know what? Tomorrow we're going to be flying around. And so I thought yesterday was sort of a litmus test game. You know, bounce back. All right, show me what you're made of. Now we got another one tomorrow because you know you failed the test yesterday.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Ken, Drive Guys, Sactown Sports. Hello, Ken. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful, fellas. How you doing this evening?
Good. What's up? What's on your mind?
Hey, man, I just want to shoot this out there, man. The Kings is playing under a different pressure. Listen, fellas. Last year, ESPN, First Take, you know, Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, nobody was talking about the Kings as far as where we would be in the West. Now, you know, the Kings see all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And they're playing with the pressure to really try to execute the play of last year. And that pressure, it's a pressure that they didn't play with last year. You understand, you know, Coach of the Year, GM of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, you know, both are All-Stars, both are players making it to the All-Star. Then you follow up that with this year. It's going to be tough on them to get through this, because I love what Mike Brown said. He's glad we going through this adversity right now, because you have to learn to play with this pressure, and not the pressure to satisfy what the people are saying out there, but with the play through the pressure to compete like we're supposed to compete through the West, because until we start to play like that, we're not going to light that beam. And remember, lighting the beam is another motivational factor for each team we play. They're trying to say, let's not let Sacramento light that beam. Last thought, fellas, the Kings is going to get back to where we were. Just be patient, Sacramento. And remember, it's always easy to talk about what nobody's doing when we're losing. When we're losing, you can see all the flaws. But when we're winning, and we can have them same flaws, but when you win, you don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? You just think about the good things that we've done because we had that W on the board. So, fellas, Sacramento, we're going to light that beam again. Promise you. K-Dub out. One love.
I like that.
All of the day now,
K-Dub. Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
K-Dub.
No, and that was a very measured take too. And I 100% agree. Calm down. It'll be okay. Now, if next week or 2 weeks we're still looking like this, and what's interesting, no De'Aaron Fox, and it's crazy how De'Aaron Fox makes it all go. I used to think without Sabonis, this De'Aaron Fox is really the guy, Whitey. Like his ability to get downhill, his ability to get into the paint, his ability to get to the line,
his ability to get to the bottom of the circle in the fourth quarter of a tight game.
He can't be
everyone
denied.
Everyone in the arena knows that's where he's headed.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's a big part. And, I do think, you talk about the pressure. It's not Kevin Huerter. It's not Harrison Barnes. Really, the pressure is on Keegan Murray. Like, he is being asked to do a lot. He heard everybody say, he heard Mike Brown say, Keegan's going to make that leap. So we're all looking at him, and let's see how he deals with this pressure now.
Here's a possible text of the day nominee. Hey, Drapes, speaking of food, we've been talking a lot about food. Could you sing us the BK Have It Your Way jingle, please?
I don't even know that I have BK Have It Your Way. I haven't been to Burger King in like 15 years.
Hold the lettuce.
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
Isn't that it?
I have no idea.
Oh, yes, that you let us have it your way.
Dude, I don't have a deal with Burger King. So I don't know. You know what? I used to love the Whopper Jr. back as a kid. Like that was my go-to. See, this is how it was growing up. It was like, I think it was $1. You get the small fries and the small drink. $3, you got yourself a whole meal. You know how much a meal is nowadays? $10, $11. It's crazy.
Does anybody remember the original like Big Mac song? I think it was speckled cheese, speckled onions, and a sesame seed. But does anyone remember that?
This is amazing radio right now. This is like,
well, we'll take this in. We need a little bit of a break. 2 all beef patty, special sauce,
lettuce, cheese,
pickles,
onions, and the sesame seed bun. Yeah, I do remember. That's going back to our childhood right there.
There you go.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, we're gonna take a time out. We just needed to cleanse the palate a little bit.
Okay.
It's been rough sledding today, but that's where we are right now. When we come back, Domas asked the question: what are we doing? What is the answer to that question? Next, when the Drive Guys keep on rolling on with your help today on Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, small business owner. Are you ready to have the best year ever in 2024? When's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But Pi Insurance could save you up to 30% in just 3 minutes. Go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for your business. No hassles or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could make this your best year ever. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles, drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Knee, hip, foot, leg, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Woo! Last night at one point during the Kings' tough loss to the Rockets, there was a defensive mix-up on an inbounds play where it looked like Herter should have switched with Sasha. Sasha gets stuck on the screen, and you got Domas pointing to Herter. Hey, you got to pick him up. Nobody picks him up, and ends up Domas gets over there late and then ends up committing a foul. And then Domas says, I think you guys alluded to this, didn't you? What are we doing?
What are we doing? Yes.
So first of all, on that play, do you know what happened on that? I know it's just one play. I'm not saying that's where the whole game turned. It wasn't.
I'm not sure exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to remember it. I think a couple of breakdowns happened on that play.
I watched it numerous times. I think Sasha got stuck, and I think Herter had to switch, but Herter was so focused on Jalen Green because it's like, I can't guard this guy that he stayed there. Anyway, it's a good question. The last 2 games for the Kings, what were they doing, and how do they make sure they stop doing it tomorrow night?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I don't get paid enough. That's above my pay grade. If I knew, shoot, Mike Brown's trying to figure it out right now. Let's keep it real. No, I think I'm not going. What I saw the last 2 games had a whole lot to do with the style the Houston Rockets bring. I don't think Portland brings that kind of style.
That sounds like an excuse, but I think you're 100% right.
Like, you're not going to run into that level of physicality night in and night out. With that being said, if you're the Kings and you're talking about playoffs and making a deep run, it shouldn't matter what
Right.
the opponent does.
You're right.
You know
again.
what? You
Right
physical?
again.
Okay, we got
You're
a counter.
on
For,
fire.
I know, right? I got a counter for that too. You know, if you're talking about playoffs and being a championship level team, you should have a counter for whatever Houston was able to do this weekend. And so, as much I gave 70% to the players, I'm gonna give it to the coaching staff to blame, because you got to come up with something different. All right, the dribble handoffs not working. They're crowding Domas. They're triple teaming them. Let's go into something else. You know, one thing that Davion Mitchell has to do a better job of, and I know this is something he worked on this season with assistant coach Jimmy Alapag, decision-making with the ball, running the actual offense. When it's the dribble handoffs with Domas, that's one thing. But what's your secondary offense? Who's that guy? We've seen Malik Monk do it, and he's done a fantastic job. Davion, his decision-making, like I said, that's something he's worked on this offseason. I need to see him in a little more pick-and-roll situation. I would venture to argue that when Davion's out there, they run their standard offense through Domantas Sabonis. When Malik's out there and Sabonis is off, you see a lot more pick and roll.
Yes.
I want to see more pick and roll with Davion out there.
I don't know the answer to this question.
Yeah.
So how does he do well in the pick and roll situations? We've seen Malik shine in that situation.
I don't feel like we've seen that from Davion a whole lot. And that's, like I said, that's
Maybe
something
that's why.
specifically they've worked on him with in the offseason. And so, but we haven't been able to see it so far. And so that's something I want to see going forward. Like if we're going to have Davion out there, because here's the thing with Davion. His shooting is improved, yes, but he's not a 40% three-point shooter. He's not De'Aaron Fox and has the ability to finish around the rim like De'Aaron Fox does. So what are you going to do with him out there on offense if you're running through Sabonis? And so I would remember I mentioned also his rookie year when he averaged 18 points per game when De'Aaron Fox was out. He had the ball in his hands. He was running the offense. I think he's having a hard time adjusting to what the Kings are doing offensively because the ball's not in his hands as much.
Here's what would drive me nuts right now if I were Monty McNair. I put this team together, and I put it together in a way where ideally somebody struggles or somebody's hurt, then someone else is there to take advantage of that situation or to fill in the gaps there. And first of all, I've got so many guys that aren't making shots, that's tough for a roster to deal with that. But then I've got guys, and so far it's early. I know it's early. Davion's one of them, and I think another one is Chris Duarte. Guys have opportunities that so far they haven't been able to fully take advantage of. And I know you pointed out correctly, Davion played really well against the Warriors.
Yes.
But, he's had chances here where, okay, here we go. De'Aaron's out. Who's going to – I know we always say step up, but who's gonna fill that role? Who's gonna fill that void for us? And they're just it's been too many times where it's like, Herter continues to struggle. Yeah, hopefully he's headed in the right direction. But my point is, I put this roster together because I was planning for guys to be able to overcome some of these problems, but it's too many problems all at once, and my roster is not living up to my expectations so far. 6 games in.
Dude, do you believe we're having this discussion 6 games in?
I do, because the last 2 games have been dreadful.
They've been dreadful.
That's why.
They have been dreadful. But what these games have shown me, and hopefully shown the coaching staff, is you have to be able to diversify your offense. Especially, we don't have the Steph Currys of the world. We don't have that. We don't have a guy, you know what, give him the ball, he's going to get you 50. De'Aaron Fox is that guy, but he's not here. And so what does your offense look like when it's no De'Aaron Fox? I think maybe you go back to a more traditional offense, a spread pick and roll. Let's see more of that. Mike Brown is a big proponent of spray threes, get into the paint and kick it out. We haven't really seen that. We had one possession me and Katie alluded to yesterday in the second half. And I said, that was their best possession of the game. It ended up in a missed shot, but everybody was moving. And so it'll be interesting I need to ask Mike Brown this. Is it the offense or is it the players' inability to run the offense? Like they aren't running the offense because we talked about it. There's a lot of standing around, but we know Mike Brown is not preaching that. Stand there.
No.
Like, we know he's not telling guys, right, you over there, stay there. We know that's not the case. And so, I want to ask Mike that tomorrow before the game.
They do have to be mentally tougher.
Yeah.
As a team, the whole team, you can't cave like that. And I know that no one saw that coming. The game Saturday, obviously you called the game. Don't need to say that. Don't need to point that out. But the thing is, they were in that game and they actually took the lead briefly and they played terribly, but they had a chance to win the game. So you probably figured, we all figured, all right, well, then you just, you make good on it last night. And last night was far worse.
Well, and that's the problem, because you talk to some of the veterans, some of the OGs. I'm talking about Doug Christie, Mike Bibby, Matt Barnes, and Dylan Brooks is doing all that Yahoo, all that waving and kissing goodnight and all that. And every single one of those guys say that's unacceptable. Like, we'd have a response. The Kings didn't have a response. And it reminds me of a team 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where they didn't put up a fight. Guys could just come. And Dylan Brooks notoriously has been that guy. When he was with Memphis, he came in to Golden One Center and did the same thing a couple of years ago. And so who's that guy? Is it Trey Lyles? Is it Malik Monk? 2 years ago, I was begging this team to commit a hard foul. I was begging this team to get into a scrap with someone. Don't just get up for Draymond and the Warriors. You got to get up for Houston. You got to walk into that building with a chip on your shoulder, especially on the road, because it's not always going to be sweet and smooth sailing. And so that's what was so disappointing about last night. You let Dylan Brooks punk you on Saturday, and then you had no response last night.
Even after he jammed on over Herter and started flexing.
Exactly. And did you see the one play where he dragged Chris Duarte down too? It was sort of a dirty play. They were battling for it. I think he was called, I think it was an out of bounds call, actually. But he grabbed Duarte down. Like, those kind of things. We got nice guys on the team, but sometimes you got to get dirty.
Yeah, and
sometimes you got to
just be one guy.
It wouldn't just be one guy. Like, if Dylan Brooks is chalk and trash or something like that, somebody got to get in his face or something. I mean,
they didn't stand up for
we need
themselves.
to run our test. Where's a Meta World Peace when you need them? Because what guys have to understand is when you face Sacramento, it's not going to be easy. You're not going to punk us. You're not going to take our heart. And that's what we saw this weekend.
You got to have a little bit of an edge. You got to be mean. They
just
weren't. They were too, they were too in their feelings to do anything about what Dylan Brooks, like, oh, yeah, he missed a shot, right? So they were sulking a little bit, but there's time to turn that around. That has to stop. I don't know why it happened. I was reminded of this because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Years ago, there was a baseball player by the name of Chili Davis. Chili Davis, I remember. Yeah, and he was in front of his locker, one of his final years with the Giants, and he'd been in this terrible slump. And people were asking him, hey, is it frustrating? And he said, it's not so much frustrating, it's just confusing. Because he said, you got all these people telling you different things. And the Kings looked confused last night, didn't they?
Yeah, but it's just basketball. No, you're not making it right. Like, I don't. They did. You're 100% right. Shell shocked, confused, unable to figure out a problem. Like, they didn't have any answers. And I tell you what, and maybe this is just me. I'm not a highly trained professional athlete, but if I can get into a fight at the Lifetime in Folsom over a crappy pickup game.
You wouldn't do that.
But of course, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I wouldn't get into a real fight. But, there's some hard fouls. There's some trash talking. How come these guys can't? That's what's upsetting, especially when it would be justified to have some pushback against Dylan Brooks. It would be justified to send a message to him, a hard foul or something like that. And so that's what's so disappointing about it. They didn't put up a fight. If you lose a game, okay. But to not put up a fight, that's unacceptable. That can't happen, Mike Brown. You got to get on these guys.
You're right.
That.
And see, that's the thing. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's only 6 games. It was early in the season. They got off to a slow start last year. Yes. But last night it was like, whoa, no. You're not going anywhere if that's your team mentality and approach.
No, 100%. And, nobody's saying be dirty or anything like that. But, sports and basketball, it's not sunshine and rainbows, it's not kumbaya. It's not, participation trophies, and I tell, my son when he plays, like when you step in between that line, like you have no friends, like you got to play hard, and they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Take a quick timeout. When we come right back, how many easy games are there really on the Kings schedule?
Oh, shoot.
This year? On anybody's schedule in the West this year. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We're right back with that and a look ahead to tomorrow night, next year. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
It's time to trade in and trade up at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com. It's all a click away.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
I admit I fell into that trap before the 2 games in Houston and looking at the schedule and saying, oh, yeah, well, this is an easy part of the schedule for the Kings. They got Houston. Houston's not very good. Then they got Portland. And obviously, Houston is much better than we thought. Houston is a bad matchup for the Kings. So how many times, honestly, do you think we can do that this year? Where you look at the schedule and go, oh, yeah, the Kings they got an easy game coming up. Not many times, right? Honestly,
I would say, 0, maybe tomorrow, but, because Portland has some injuries, obviously. Robert Williams is out.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the guys, I'm drawing a blank right now, but but the problem and the thing about the NBA is every team has a guy or guys that can go off on any given night. You can't tell me Shaedon Sharpe can't get hot and score 30 plus tomorrow night. DeAndre Ayton can't go off tomorrow night. Jeremy Grant can't go off. And so, this whole winnable games notion, I think what we saw these last 2 games should be a wake-up call to everybody, including the players and the fan base. Sure, there are games you should win, but I wouldn't be surprised. This is the NBA. Anybody can beat anybody on a given night. And so you have to come in there with your hard hat and your mentality that, you know what? We're going to win this game. Like, treat Portland like